Unclicked China edition.
Chinese edition, we're here.
Yeah, no Dennis, no Dales. I don't think Source is here either. So shout out to Dale. Shout out to Source for sponsoring the podcast. Shout out to Dennis for never leaving San Diego.
Yeah, Dennis. Last time Dennis was in China, that was the end of his run into UCI and all that stuff.
Yeah, he was done. So I think he's talked about that. But yeah, the Olympic dreams for Dennis kind of got crushed.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think he had the dream. I think to him it would have been more like, I'll just go compete to this event.
Yeah.
Not so much like, oh my God, this is my dream. Like, I try to explain this to this generation or this side of BMX. It's like Dennis, like he cares, but he doesn't care at the same time.
Yeah.
Like he would be like, hey, I'm psyched to ride this course. I'm psyched to do this event. But he had to genuinely like it. And you could see through time, like if he went to an event and he hated it, you could see when he's riding, which is
exactly.
I would be there.
No, yeah, and that's true. When he's feeling a course, it shines, and when he's not,
or just the vibe of the event.
Yeah.
And these events are definitely not for everyone.
Yeah. So obviously, I think the big thing is that you have formally announced your retirement. But before we get to the end, I feel like we got to talk about the beginning.
Okay.
Young
humble beginnings.
Young baby Dhers and born in the slum of Caracas.
I was not born in the slums, man. I was born in Caracas.
He drifted down a river in a basket. And he was found.
In the Nile. Yeah, I think that was a different guy. But
was that a different story?
I think something that might be a bit religious, but yeah, no. I started in Caracas.
Yeah.
13 years old.
Okay.
But I started riding BMX because my friends started riding bikes. It wasn't BMX. Like I even had like a mountain bike, but I like to like jump down things. And he was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then we met a guy, and this is kind of like a weird chance in life. There had to be maybe 2 flatlanders in the entire country, and one of them lived in my block. So that's why I tried to do BMX in like odd places, because you never know who you might influence into getting into a bike.
Yeah.
And he showed us a couple tricks, like a funky chicken or something, and he was like, "Yo, there's these guys that ride street up in the plazas like a few blocks away." So I went there, and yes, these guys were jumping downstairs, upstairs, and I started just going around the city with them until finally one day someone was like, "Yo, there's a skate park." I'm like, "Rams? Yeah, let's go." And the day I went, I was like, "Dude, this is what I want to do."
Yeah.
But dude, you are from Venezuela. There's no way you will ever live off bike riding.
Yeah.
Like you will never really, when you start seeing X Games and Mirra and all this stuff, and it's like, oh man, it would be cool to one day maybe go and watch this event, but that would be so insane, like it's impossible.
Yeah. The
so
idea of it is like, well, I'm just doing this because it's fun.
Yeah. And then I wanted to drop out of school, but different story.
So I've always been curious about it because I've heard that like your dad did pretty well for himself, but obviously like I think well for himself within the confines of Venezuela.
He did okay. I mean, he was in the bowling business.
Bowling, that's
yeah. So he was in the bowling business, and then he worked for a company in Argentina, and then the company expanded to Brazil, Hong Kong, and Japan.
Okay.
And he was managing pretty much all of it. Now the company, I think, only exists in Argentina, maybe.
Okay.
But I think he does very mild stuff with the company. I don't think he's doing as much as he used to.
Okay.
He still lives in Hong Kong, and there's no bowling alleys or anything. He just like this side of the world, so it's kind of, weird that he came here and then all of a sudden he just decided to live here. So he'll go to South America every few months or something.
Okay.
My grandma's still in Argentina, and she's like 90, so he's trying to go and visit her. I'm trying to go visit her more often. But yeah, he was on that, but he definitely did not like that. It's not that he didn't like that I rode BMX. He didn't like that I did not want to go to school or work or anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that roach, early 2000s BMX lifestyle. I was like, I just do whatever I want. I'm a fucking hoodlum or something. The rebel aspect. And you're 16. It's like you definitely don't want to go to school. I moved to Argentina when I was 16, and at that age, I finally just got my first sponsor, which was like, it blew me away because I got a free bike.
Okay.
that had to return after. So it wasn't like a real sponsorship. But when
who was it?
GT.
GT.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
was it through a distro?
A distro, yeah.
Okay,
Distro had GT and Primo.
Okay.
So my whole bike was stacked with GT and Primo. And I think I bent the frame, and then they got me a new one, and I rode the bike, and I had like a Volker.
Okay.
The black Volker. I don't know if he had two, but I remember similar to the GT Tour. Mm-hmm. And dude, I loved that bike. And then when I had to give it back, dude, my fucking life ended.
When do you have to give it back? Like after?
Because South America, man, sponsorships run a little different, you know.
Like what, 6 months, and then you have to give it back afterwards? Like
no, because I was moving to Argentina, and I had to be with them maybe 8 months, and he's like, dude, we give you the bike to promote it, but like you're leaving and this and that, dude. I had to even return the sweaters. Like I had Primo sweaters. He let me, I think, keep a shirt. Everything else I had to return. And dude, I was so sad. Like I had a backpack that I loved. I had to give it back. I was like, dude, so imagine like the heartbreak. So to me, moving to Argentina was like the worst thing that happened to me, you know. And I mean, at the end now, when I look back, it's like it was actually probably the best thing. Yeah. Because BMX was big in Argentina. You know, Axel comes from there, and he was one of the first South Americans to come out.
Okay. Axel Jurgens, right?
Jurgens, yeah. He rode for McNeil by the time I moved to Argentina, I think, or was about to ride for McNeil. So he was like the guy that you looked up to, like, damn, this guy made it. He made it top 10 in a CFB or something. Like, this is it. Yeah. And there were a lot of good riders there. And they had parks.
So the scene was better more developed than Venezuela.
I think it was the biggest in all of South America.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like maybe from Mexico down, it had to be the biggest. Yeah. The things like I moved, and just a few months later, the economic crisis happened, and everything just took a dump.
Is it socialism? Or something
no, I don't think it even started there. Yeah. Like the economy just took a dump. Okay. Like the money got devaluated, and then if you have money in the bank, you couldn't pull it out. So the riots that were happening in the streets were fucking crazy. And then the skate parks, stuff, as you will imagine, like even in the rich country, imagine in a poor country now with money problems, like the parks start closing. Yeah. And then so especially, BMX back then was different. You rode street, you rode everything. So yeah, we'll go and ride street, but I really wanted to ride park, and the problem of the park kind of disappearing every couple of months. Winter and all this shit. Eventually, I said, dude, I gotta start going to the States. Mm-hmm.
So the scene in Argentina, like, are you getting good quick? Like, are you the best dude? And are you?
No, I was not the best. There were a couple other guys that were really good. I couldn't really tail whip at the time. Okay. This had to be. I could tail whip, but my tail whip was weird. As you see, like I whip all funny. Yeah. It's because I had a bike that was 40 pounds. I had a Mirra Pro, and then I had a Nyquist Pro, and I was still kind of skinny, but I was even smaller then. Yeah. And I would use the quarter to like swing the bike, but it would go out so far that I would put my foot on the peg, on the back peg. So I would like peg wheelie out every time. So that's why my whip has like that weird,
like almost like a vertical whip.
It's like a vertical whip,
a scooter whip or
something. Yeah. The Bry flip or something. Yeah. So I could somewhat do it, and I think when I moved to Argentina, maybe I was already catching pedals, but this was a couple years in the making. Yeah. But no, the guys there could flip. I could not flip. Crazy. And I was very anti-flip for a long time. But I couldn't do it, so I was like, oh, fuck that. Like, Joe Rich doesn't flip.
And obviously no foam pits, no anything.
No, dude.
Like some chopped up dirt.
I did try the backflip, the almighty backflip. I did try it at a box shop, and it was car tires, and some mattresses on top of the deck. But you had a roll in that, dude, it had to be, I don't even know, man, 30 feet in there. I don't even know. Yeah, it was fucking insane.
From your scale, yeah, probably like 16 or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe if I go back, it's like, oh shit, this is small. But back then, it was like, dude. Yeah. So I asked the guy, he kind of rode bikes, but he never really rode bikes. I was like, dude, how do you flip? It's like, dude, this is what you do. You go down the rolling and pedal with all your strength. With everything you possibly got. And when you're about to take off, just hum the bars and arch yourself like a scorpion and try to loop that way, and that's it, and you will come around. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. and I landed in the scorpion position past the
Past- yeah, 'cause
mattresses,
you
like at
pedaled
the
everything.
bottom, dude. I died, and I did this like 4 or 5 times until I was like, I think backflips are not for me, man. And then I just stopped flipping. I mean, dude, I did die.
Yeah.
Like,
What? Why'd you ask that guy?
I don't know, how did we do BMX back then? It's like you ask whoever was there, it's like, hey man, how do you do tail whips? Oh, you just swing the bike. Like there was no, it's not like now that you have, like you probably study the tricks and now you explain it with like detail. Back then it's like, I remember like, how do you tail whip? And I think I had a BMX Plus where I see Joe Tosh doing a tail whip, and he's in that position. It's like, oh, I need to get in that position. But how do you go about that from a picture? And he's on a dirt jump, and you have a quarter, and the bike is 40 pounds. Like, you don't, like, it does not exist in your mind until you go and do it. So, hey, how do I flip?
You're missing step 1, 2, 3, and 5 and 6 and 8 or something like that.
Well, he fucking basically killed me because you do not want to go as fast as you can for your first flip. You do not want a scorpion. You do not want to, pull as hard as you can. Like, that is all of the steps that he gave me, they're all wrong. And so that kind of interfered with my backflip learnings for a long time.
And then, so I assume you learned flips at Woodward. When
Yeah.
All right, but how do you get to
camp?
To the States?
I did go to a CFB in California. This was kind of disheartening because I could 360 tail whip by now. This was maybe like 2002 or 2003. Van Homan actually beat me there. He won. So he holds this one against me. I know we talked about this from time to time when we're having whiskey. We always bring this up.
I was like, man, you got any questions for Dhers? He's like, talk to him about that time.
I know. He holds this against me. In the same contest, Ride BMX did a cover of Morgan Wade doing
I was there then.
Yes, you were there.
So that was your first time in the States.
I had to be my first competition in the States.
So that was like my first like event that I shot for Ride basically, and I didn't shoot in the same sense. Jeff was there. And Jeff got everything. He got the cover, got most of the photos. I may have gotten one photo.
Somewhere.
So it was...
This was our beginning,
yeah,
see? We all started the same CFB, Hoffman made this happen for us.
Jeff was my Van Homan.
Yeah. So I go to this event and I'm like, dude, I can't 360 tail whip. Van Homan cannot 360 tail whip. I'm obviously going to beat him and anybody that cannot 360 tail whip.
Yeah.
And when I get there, the competition is at the Enterprise, which is like a fucking 100 square foot skate park. Like it's if you don't know how to ride bikes, it's unrideable.
Yeah. It was like for those people that don't know, it was like a monstrous bowl with a step down. Doesn't exist in modern day BMX. Nothing like that. Yeah. Like it was too gnarly. It was sick though.
It was amazing.
I loved it, but
This was like. I think Wessel designed it.
Yeah.
I think Wessel fucking had to pop some acid and do this fucking park because this was just so gnarly.
Yeah.
Everything worked. Like this is what I love from Nate. That he always looked crazy and then everything worked out. But this time it did not work out for me.
Yeah.
Because the Vergo was opposite. I never rode a Vergo before, so as you see, this could have been a problem for the almighty 360 tail whip. And I did try this trick, but I died, and I ended up like 40th place. And then my friend was like, "What's up? You were going to win the CFB." I was like, "Motherfucker, the fucking ramp goes the wrong way. If not, I would have won." But yeah. That's like the thing when in your crazy kid mind, you're like, "Oh, I see Chase Huck can just fucking jump like I can jump," and it's like, no, man, like there is a difference, And then it looks easy on TV, but it's not sometimes that easy. So. At that point, I knew Matt Hoffman, April Mays.
Yeah.
I don't know if she liked months. So they ran HSA at the time, and HSA was the governing body for BMX through XGames and all that for the people that don't know. And there was a demo happening in Curacao, which is a Netherlands antique island near Venezuela. Like it's a 30-minute flight.
Okay.
It's a Dutch colony, And they hit me up like, hey, we are looking for someone that can build a ramp in this island for a demo and bring some riders, and you're the guy that's closest to this island. So I'm like, yeah, man, let me contact you with my friend who has ramps that he can transport, because he made transportable ramps to do in Venezuela. So I put him in contact. He could speak English, and I think he knew Matt too, maybe, because I think he competed in one of those Latinx teams too, like on vert. So the demo happened, and Tom Stover came to Tom Stover's vert rider. Yeah. I think he's in Arizona now. But he came. He was living at Woodward. He came to do the demo. So he was the only American there. And I remember, dude, when he showed up, I tried to just fucking do every 360 tail possible that I could. Everything that I could do, I tried to show them, and.
Because you're trying to show. You're trying to show off. You're trying to make a memorable impression.
Yeah, you're trying to show up, but I wasn't trying to be like, hey, I'm better than you. It's like, yo, man, look that I'm also trying. I wanted to have the respect of like, oh, this is a good rider. I wasn't trying to be like, hey, Tom Stover, can you fucking? It was just like, hey, because he was also riding vert. I did not ride vert, but in our park demo, like I'll do my thing, and I could not flip. He could, so he was always going to beat me, obviously.
Yeah.
And at the end, and like I could speak some English, pretty broken, but I could communicate. And I remember like building up the courage to like, okay, I just gotta ask him for his email and asking if I can come to Woodward. Like, I don't know, how could this work?
Because he lived at Woodward.
He lived at Woodward camp.
Yeah.
So.
And this is the this is the vert Mecca days.
Yeah,
too,
this is prior.
Yeah.
Everyone versus Bestwick at some point.
Yeah.
All the vert drama. That was interesting. But I go and I go up to him like, hey, Tom, I have a question for you. And he looked at me. He's like, hey, man, I was going to tell you, you want to come to Woodward? Here's my email. I was like, what? This guy read my mind. So he gives me his email. It was like Tom Exup or something at AOL or something like that. And I hit him up months later. I said, hey, man, I would like to come. So he got me in 2004 to go for like a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And in 2004 I went to Latinx Games and I did well there, and Jerry Badders was like, hey man, if you come to the States, I can get you hotel and some shoes and stuff for the Triple Crowns when they were happening.
Yeah.
So I kind of put a trip together where I was able to go to Denver and then to Woodward.
Okay.
And to Vegas, because my dad met me there too. So we did Denver and then Vegas, and then when I went to Vegas is when I connected with Kyle Carlson.
Okay.
We meet in Denver, and there's like, hey man, I'm going to Vegas, and he's like, hey man, I'm going to live in Vegas. So I go to Vegas, and then I go to camp, and when I go to Woodward, the last day of camp, dude, like obviously it's the dream, the absolute dream. So I go to Tom, I said, yo man, I can't leave, man. Like I would love to stay longer. What can I do? And we go talk to camp, and they said, like, oh, we have no room, and he was like, oh, just stay at my house. You come, and he lived nearby. He lived like a couple blocks away. Blocks here in the woods. Yeah. But yeah, I went and I stayed there for a couple months, and then at some point I came back to Woodward and stayed in the barn, and then I traveled to.
So when you go, quick rewind. So you do really good at Latinx Games. Do you do good at the Triple Crowns?
No.
Okay.
No, the 360 tailwheel did not work either at the Triple Crowns. So I don't know. I might have got like 24th or something. I wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't like, oh, you're top 10. I remember going to this competition, and Nikos was doing, I don't know, 10-foot flares, and Joe West was doing maybe 12-foot whips. Like the Scotty was like riding good. Like Whitesnake was around. Morgan was there.
Yeah. I think I was at that Denver one too. So
maybe I mean that this is the time where the BMX media went to all the events, all the time. So you had to have gone. Losi had to have gone. Like everybody. I think this is right before the birth of Vital BMX and all that.
Yeah.
So I go there. I do okay. I go to Woodward, and then Jerry was like, yo man, if you come to California, or I think Goodler talked to Jerry about getting me a flight to California or something.
So it sounds like you got people like rooting for you.
In some way.
But your English is how good right now?
No, now it's good, but at this time it was like terrible. I was like, hey Joe, speak Washington, what's up? It was pretty broken, and I did not know how to put the sentence together. I knew how to say beer want. So I want
motherfucker
a lot. I had a lot of words that we cannot mention anymore, but because I grew up listening to rap, and in South America you don't encounter any of the problems, the social problems of the United States, and you're like, rap? Dr. Dre says what? If he says it, I can say it, you know. So it was.
But that's cool that people were like backing you. Even though there was like a little bit of a language barrier. Google Translate doesn't exist.
Zero.
So so like you mentioned Gutler, you mentioned Jerry,
others.
Stover too.
Stover,
so they all
and then once I made it to camp, it's like Wessel will help me with parts and stuff, because Tom, I live with Nate as well, so he'll help me with parts, and you know, like, yes, but I think BMX was so different back then too. Like, I always, or around that era, I would tell people, hey man, if you go to any part in the world and you show up to the skate park and there's a BMX rider, you'll most likely be able to stay at their house. Like, we would always be welcoming people into our thing. And you know, obviously the United States was like the Mecca and the Holy Grail, and you didn't know exactly, but at the time, like, yes, you know, and you build a relationship, and I think it was funny to all of them that I could barely speak English, and my English was crazy, so I know they were also making fun of me.
They making fun of your teeth?
I think I was okay teeth at the time. It was later on that the teeth went all crazy. Yeah, yeah. They were really bad.
Yeah.
And
so when you have like this expectation of United States coming from Venezuela, and you know, growing up in Argentina a little bit too, how did it deliver on that? Was it really just this like?
At the beginning, yes, but later on it did not. At the beginning, it was like, dude, this is amazing. Yeah. Obviously, like, you know, I mean, the best park in the world, because back then it was Woodward pretty much. Yeah. Scotty, I think, had the incline club, but it wasn't as well known as now, like, to go
Woodward
park.
Was always,
Woodward was
nothing better than.
Yeah. And maybe Dave's Warehouse, but this was like such a far-fetched idea of even considering going there. Logistically, also, I had no car, no nothing, like, you know, it was all crazy. So I stayed there, and eventually I go to California. I compete there. I end up getting 7th place. I was like, dude, I made like...
That's the Triple Crown?
The Triple Crown. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I made like $800. It's fuck, I'm rich. I live on fucking $10 a month for 5 months. Like, this is great.
So you were scraping by in the States.
Yeah, dude. I had zero jobs, zero... Yeah.
Income, no sponsors, really.
Yeah.
Like, did you have any sponsors at this point?
No, I don't think so.
Zero sponsors, zero income, living off of a Argentinian collapsed economy.
Yeah. I mean, just whatever money I had from little odd jobs that, you know, I think at this point maybe my parents helped me with a flight ticket, but nothing else. Yeah. And I don't know how much.
Is there ever like a timeline, like, hey, you know, hey son,
you
have about 6 months to do this BMX stream, and then you gotta come to.
It happened. It happened. So in 2006, 2005 was a weird year for me because I go back to the States, but my visa expires. So by the time I got it back, I missed the qualification for the U Tour. I could not do the Open qualifier, and I was like, well, I'll still go to Woodward, and I'll just ride. And dude, I would ride 10 hours a day. I would, 10 hours. Dude, I rode so much. I would wake up at noon so I didn't have to buy breakfast. Because also, this is the time where like camp already closed. So like I was there maybe for like a month before it closed, but then I stayed like 2 more in the winter. And you know, you're a scrawny kid. You don't want to cook or anything, and you're trying to save money. All right, wake up at noon. I'll skip breakfast. I'll have a protein shake. And then I used to steal some Red Bulls too when they would bring them. And I'll just go ride. And that was my session. And so I rode with different crews.
Was there like
the
free
day.
Lunch and dinner or something?
No, it was, it was during camp, yes. But once it closed, then there was no more free. Yeah. So I will buy noodles and stuff. I brought a microwave and I'll cook the noodles there. Like
some ramen stuff.
Ramen, some ramen. And I would just live off that and like protein powder and stuff. And that's kind of how I just did it.
Chicken flavored protein powder in the
No, not even, man. This was straight vanilla, bad vanilla, like the one that gives you like a cramp in the stomach, man. But I had no. The thing is, like, I look back and I don't think I was having a bad time either. Like I was enjoying that I was able to ride. Like,
I can see
it might sound dramatic, but to me it was like, I would have maybe wanna eat steak more often, but it was like I'm riding my bike. This is all I want to do.
But you're living your dream at that point.
Living it to the max.
Yeah.
I was making zero money, but I would watch Dew Tour, and whatever trick happened there, I would go right away and try to learn it because we have access to the foam and resi. Yeah. So in 1 year, I learned, or the 3 months that I was there, I learned so much that by the time I was gonna go home, Baker Jam was happening in Orlando, so I stopped there. Can't remember exactly how, but I ended up with John Jennings and this other guy named Tito, I think, and I ended up going to Sparky's at the time, and I bought some handlebars or something. I think I saved so much money that I was able to buy some stuff, and I go to Mesh. It wasn't Mesh anymore, it was Mesh.
Yeah.
And dude, I rode this like it was the X Games of like we're trying to beat Dave Mirra at the peak. Like I rode this like there was no tomorrow. But I noticed that yes, this was a standard of riding at Woodward at the time. So if you were going to like a jam, the jam is more to just go and do stuff. But to me, this was like X Games, Olympics, and Dew Tour combined. Like you gotta do everything. So I rode, and this when I front flipped the spine, so that brought some attention because the front flip was pretty new at the moment. And Kyle asked me to send him all the footage I was filming because back then you also film a lot because you were gonna put a video at some point.
Yeah.
So I sent him all my footage because he promised that I was gonna get a part in his video that obviously never came out. Because
which video?
He was gonna call it Image, and I think this is very obscure information.
Yeah.
I think Jake Onesto had like a part. Cleveland maybe had a part.
Yeah. I mean, Cleveland was incredible. Jake was. I feel like people would recognize Mike Cleveland's name. Jake, they may not even recognize.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think so. But he was amazing.
Yeah.
And so I think we all were gonna have a part, and obviously his work ethic didn't pan out, and there goes the video. But I sent him the footage, and this happened, the front flip and all that, and he started working with Haro. So I think Tony D asked him, like, hey, do you know anyone? We want to add someone to the team.
Probably because he did the premium video, right?
He did premium, yeah. He did premium. So I think I had a few clips in premium, in the premium video.
Yeah.
And so they hit me up, like, yo, man, we can offer you $500 a month. Like, fucking bring me the fucking Ferrari. Let's go buy some shit. This is some serious fucking money. Dude, I was so psyched. Like, and your trips were paid and everything. Yeah. So, and free bikes and stuff. Dude, I would go on their website every day and try to...
You're like, do I have to return it after?
Yeah. No, but I do have a funny moment with Tony.
Tony D.
Tony D. Yeah, Tony also sometimes would, drop the ball a little bit. And I bent the spindle. I had a tight spindle, a premium tight spindle. I twisted it a little bit. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, can I get a new spindle? He's like, yeah, man, no problem. I'll send it over. Okay, cool. This is like a Monday. Friday comes by because he was in California. I'm at Woodward. I was like, okay, it'll take for 5 days. Nothing. I was like, okay. Next Monday, I'm like, yo, man, just wondering, what's up? Do you have the tracking for this? Like, oh shit, man, sorry, I forgot. I'll send it right now. Okay, cool. Next Friday rolls by, I get the box, and I'm like, oh shit. So I go happy with my box. I open it, and when I pull, I pull a left crank arm, and that was it. There's fucking nothing else. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is this? But yeah, anyways, I rode for Haro, and so I finally decided like I gotta make a trip to Greenville.
Yeah.
And this is the part that the USA was not what I expected it either. So I go to Greenville. I met Dave before in 2004. He came to Woodward. He rolled by, but I don't think we really talked. It might have been more like, and that's it. I think he was looking into moving there, and then he didn't. But I remember to Woodward, yeah. I think I know he came, and there was something to that he might have looked into moving there.
Okay.
But he was there for maybe 5 days, and knowing Dave now, it's like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
But I remember Dan Sieg telling me like, oh yeah, Dave, every once in a while he'll ask about you, and after the front flip, like he paid attention because it wasn't just that. I was doing like a 3-whip tap ice pick fakie on the spine and 3-whip fakie on the quarter. In 2005, this wasn't like a thing, you know. Like I would ice pick the big sub, X up out, double whip the quarter. Like I had like a weird mix of style.
Yeah.
So when I go to Greenbelt, remember he was talking to some suits, and there was like the re-inauguration of the JC Park. And I don't know, he was talking to some people in suits and stuff, and I walked in.
Probably like the mayor.
Had to be the mayor. I just don't want to call the mayor out, but he had to be the mayor. And he was like talking, and then he looks, and he's like, and just walks up and like, yo, what's up, Daniel? How you doing, man? And he was super friendly.
It's so funny. I could hear that Dave voice.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Like, yo, what's up, man? What's up?
You're probably dying on the inside.
Dude, I on the inside, I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
In the outside, I'm like,
Same.
Dude.
I literally, like, back in the day, I would call him once in a while. You know, I think when we invited him for NORA Cup, he's like, what's up, Ryan? And I was like, huh?
Yeah,
like,
he knows my
like,
name.
He saved my fucking phone
This
number.
is crazy.
Like, this is insane.
He didn't just hang up on me, send me to voicemail. He was, you know, I think at that moment he was psyched of the tricks that I was doing
Of
and
course,
stuff.
yeah.
So
and he probably saw you as a bit of the next generation. Too.
maybe,
like,
yeah. And I think we connected very, very well because he's like, yo, what's up, Daniel? How you doing, man? So psyched that you came. This is cool. And then we're going. He's like, oh, man, you want to come ride my warehouse? Come ride my warehouse, man. There's no problem. Save my phone number. I'm about to have Dave Mirra's phone number.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, sure, man. What is it, 252? Yeah, and whatever.
You know it by heart, don't you?
No. I think I might have knew at some point.
Emergency contact.
Yeah. Number one, dial, just press 1. But he like, yeah, get my phone number and you call me and we go ride. I was like, oh, where you staying? You want to stay with me? Just come stay at my house. I'm like, oh shit, man. No, thanks, man. I'm staying with Dan right now, but thank you for the opportunity. Oh no, yeah, just let me know. We'll ride tomorrow morning, whatever, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So this is the Daniel that was waking up at noon and now have to wake up early to go ride with the master of all.
Yeah.
But I had to do it, man. Like if Dave Mirra tells you to, I think I showed up late once and he was in the car and I got in and I knew he was mad.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have to show up 15 minutes before, so I would go early. But yeah, it was cool to have those sessions because he would be like, all right, D, cold turkey, front flip the box right now. I'd be like, dude, I haven't eaten in 2 days, man. Like, I'm gonna die. And, oh, well, I don't know. I was like, all right, do it, but you gotta do an air traffic controller. He'd be like, all right, let's do it. So, you know, that was at the level that he was.
Yeah.
And
No bullshit.
No bullshit, man.
Yeah.
It was never.
Yeah.
You remember that video, Sentence to Life? Mm-hmm. Dude, the first day I rode the warehouse, he did everything from that video except the Fufanu on the big faraway rail and the flip drop, but everything else he did.
Yeah.
So
One session.
That was the session.
Yeah.
Every day. And the first time you're like, whoa, he's excited. And then it's like, oh no, this is a regular Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Like that was the level of riding. So so I got into that program, rode with him, all that, and I don't remember what was the first question, but
no, I mean you were just going down the timeline. So you did good at Mesh at Bago Jam. You got some cash.
I was gonna tell you that with the part that it wasn't so good.
Oh.
Because I had a little bit of drama going on.
Okay, hit me with the drama. This is what we live for.
Yeah. I know. I gotta spill some beans. No, but this story, I think people, maybe the new kids don't know, but at the time BMX was very jealous of tricks. Mm-hmm. So if you were doing a trick, if you have your riding style, I could not go and copy your riding style. Yeah. Like it was very frowned upon to do such thing. And I remember Goodler was doing C-grab whip on the foam pit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, can I do it with you? And he's like, sure. So okay, he gives me permission. I go and try it. I start doing it. And I think next day, I go to the warehouse and I do it in the resi. And maybe I think he comes that day or the day after, and he sees me. I think Dave was with him, and Dave was like, oh, check what Daniel's doing. And I go and do it on the resi. I think Ryan wasn't too psyched about it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like as a kid back then, I did not understand the importance of this, you know?
The code of ethics.
The code of ethics. And like I asked him permission, but I think I understand now it was more like, okay, do it, but you're not going to go do it in the next competition and use it against me.
Yeah.
When this is something that I kind of just did first.
Yeah.
Because also the information at the time. So I go to a CFB in Oklahoma at the Hoffman Park, and I have this trick dial.
Shit happens.
I have this fucking trick dial.
Yeah.
I go and I do it in practice a bunch, and I was on Haro, so I travel with Nyquist, I think maybe Darden. I don't think McKay, but it might have been them too. Someone, and I go with them, and there was a little bit of translation barriers and problems, and I think Nyquist and me did not really get along. But to me, like, I don't know, I'm just being me, and this is it. And like, I did not think that we were not understanding each other. So you know, I ruffle some feathers. And then I go to the park and I do the trick, and now Ryan is upset, so he comes to me and says, hey man, that's fucked up, you're doing this trick, man, like I did it, it's so hard to bring something new to BMX and you're doing it, and you know, like I was doing it before. I was like, oh shit man, hey dude, I'm sorry, I don't want to get, like I understand now that you're telling me I'm not going to do the trick anymore. It's like, okay, cool. So the event starts happening, but then, I don't know, like pretty much every Greenville dude at the time, like they just start just turning their backs on me, on everything. Like I would go by and it would be like, and it would be like, damn dude, and I just start feeling unwelcome through the whole event. And I think something else happened with Nyquist, but I don't remember. So I was sad. At the end of the trip, when I go back, I don't do well. And I go back to Greenville, and I'm like, dude, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going back to South America. This is not what I thought BMX would be. I thought we would all be friends. Yeah. I also did not understand the competitive part of it. Like when new person shows up at this time, it's like, well, if you're really that good, you know, the guys that are there, they might start dropping places. This means less money, sponsorship problems. Like at this time, sponsors are very heavy on results and stuff. So I remember I go to Dave.
Especially, it's like, I mean, I guess Mirra is the only one that really has a facility at that point. But you're using Mirra's
Nyquist had
Nyquist did have
the unit. Yeah.
So it's like, those dudes are like, yeah, you're coming in my house and fucking eating all my muffins.
Yeah, pretty much. So. But I go to Dave because obviously he's the wise man.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey Dave, like fuck this, I'm out, go to South America. Like this thing happened with the trick, and he was drinking some wine, and he's like, oh no man, fuck that dude. Just go fucking get that trick, just fucking do it first thing on the next contest, fuck him. Yeah, like this is fucking, what do you mean? It's fucking a really nice trick, just fucking go do it. And it's like, oh man, seriously? Yeah man, fuck that dude, just fucking go and do it, like you're really good. And then obviously in that whole thing I gathered this like, well, you know, you are trying to break into the scene.
Yeah.
You're not really here to make friends. You are here to win these events. If you're really trying to make a living of BMX riding. So I was like, all right, fuck it, so be it. He gave me the blessing.
Yeah.
And I went to Woodward next day. I was gonna go and live that camp for the summer. So I go to camp, and I went to Beswick's house, and I tell him the story and the same, but he was not drinking wine, but he was like, hey Daniel, yeah, fuck these guys. Oh, however he talks. He talks kind of like that. And I was like, really, Jamie? He's like, yeah. You know, sometimes you gotta do the tricks. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So next due tour, the first trick that happens in this event is like I drop in from the quarter straight cigarette whip. And I do this, I was doing the open qualifier, and I make it in, and then, dude, it got so dramatic because Kip Williamson was announcing, and he sees the trick, and he's like, whoa, Daniel, you just invented a new trick. So someone goes to him, it's like, no, it wasn't him, it was Goodler. So then he's like, oh, sorry, I just got corrected. Goodler invented the trick first. It's like, oh, hell yeah. And then I don't know how, but then Morgan goes up to, it's like, no, it wasn't either of them, it was Ruben Alcantara in like 1992. And we, like, Goodler and me, after the event, we all both like, dude, we're such fucking idiots, man. Like, we were arguing for a trick. And
Ruben invented
it was like fucking a decade, 15 years before. And we both just started laughing, like, dude, this is stupid, man. Like, and obviously that cured the bad blood, and at least between Goodler and me. And then, you know, like, and then we went into the season. But this was the part that I was like, yeah, no, fuck this. Like, I thought that we were all be friends because we were riding bikes.
Yeah, but I mean, you're friends, but they're your competitors.
You're competitors.
You really are. And like you said, it's like you contest placings are super important.
They were super important, and yeah, I mean, and this time, like, you know, first place was like 15 grand, second was 10.
Yeah.
So already a big difference, and then, like, you know, now you're bumping someone that was getting 15 to 10 to 7 to whatever, and then the year end was also a big number. So yeah, I understand that. And then also the respect of the learning of the tricks, because after that I also then became pretty jealous of people trying to copy my style of riding.
Yeah.
You know, because like I think Scotty, I don't know if Scotty was the first to flare whip like a small ramp. It was either him or me, but we both already had like different styles, so we would cross over tricks sometimes. But he would triple whip, I would 7.
Yeah.
Like we would, and when he's 7, I think he was 7 tug. I think I was doing 7 whip at the time, or 7 bar. Like we would cross, but never really copy each other's style.
Yeah.
And it would be tough. Like I remember when like Baldo came around, or Mad Dog came around when they were first coming up.
Yeah.
They had a lot of my riding style. You know, not like the actual looks, but like, oh, 3 double whip to flare whip to whatever. And I remember.
The assembly of the tricks.
Assembly of the tricks. And I remember going to them like, yo, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I then understood, like, oh, dude, you're coming from my muffins, man. What the fuck?
I like how this term is real now.
Yeah, it's like, damn, dude, this got real. But now,
you ate all my fucking cereal.
Yeah. It's like, dude, fuck, man, you like, what is this? Like, I bought the cereal, the plate, and the milk, and now you're gonna take it, like. So I understood later, but also I understand, like, dude, you gotta find a reference.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was winning every event there was, so it was like, oh, that's how you win. You learn these tricks, and then eventually they go and I noticed, like any rider that does it, eventually they break through into their own style of riding, and then they do their own thing.
I've always said that anybody that has the ability and skill to like copy another rider's like skill set and their style, they're incredibly talented. You give them long enough, and then they develop, and it develops.
Yeah. And at this point, it's like, well, you want to win these events, you gotta do the tricks that are winning the events.
Well, so it's funny when you say like the ascent, like, well, I think I said it, the assembly of the tricks, but I think that was your greatest like asset, was like your
how to put the run together. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think that's where you found most of your like competitive success, was like a lot of those dudes could do the tricks, but they couldn't understand
the strategy of the course.
To pack the most of it in. And I feel like at that point, I felt like I almost like, I'm obviously not like a park event expert, but like I credit you for where Mirra came in and said like, hey, you need to train as an athlete. Endurance. I credit you as like the mathematician of like, hey, you got to put together all the points. Here, and here, and pack it all in to get the top spot, because you did the most out of everybody. You know. And
I think. And thank you. I feel like, yes, the assemblies were the strategy. I always enjoy strategy, but I always paid a lot of attention on what was going on in the competitive world. So, for example, when I went in 2004, when I'm riding the Triple Crown, I remember Tom Haugen. And he would ride...
He was kind of,
He was a very good strategic rider.
Yeah.
But also not just in the run, but how he practiced. And this is the time when you had practice. Not like now that you get 30 minutes and 50 people on the course and you die. This is like you get in 3 days of 6 hours and it's only 20 people. So you had unlimited. And I remember he would practice a certain way. And the first time I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I was like, oh, this is weird. And then I'll go to the next Triple Crown in California. And I paid attention on how he practiced. Like, oh shit, he's doing this tooth bar 15 times and linking it to this thing. So I learned that part from him. And then Bruce Chrisman, also he had a very specific way of doing the run. Because remember, he wins X Games in, was it 2001?
With an atypical style.
The bar to foof one-hander, which we all copy at that time. But you know, like what stood out in that moment in time was like he was doing tricks on everything. And it was little tricks, but Smith to X up, and then bar spin to manual, and then something. But he was able at this point to beat Mirra.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they fell, but it was like, oh shit, but there is a way to beat Dave Mirra at this point, who is the guy that's doing the double flip and the big five and all these things. So it wasn't so much of the trick. I noticed how he put the run together.
Yeah.
So yes, in time, I started picking things. So I remember like to get the competitive edge, at some point, flares were a thing.
Yeah.
But no one was doing flare combinations on small ramps. So I remember looking at Kevin Robinson, senior, not junior. It's kind of crazy to see junior just going nuts. Yeah. So K-Rob Sir, he was doing flare no-handers, and he was very well known for the flare no-hander at this point in time. And I remember like, damn, I could maybe do that on the small quarter, because I learned how to pop out. And because the flare was somewhat of a vert trick, it wasn't really a park trick. As maybe a couple of guys did it, but it wasn't a big thing. So I started doing the no-handed flare, and I had to be, if not the first, one of the first ones to do that, and then the flare table and the flare X-up, and then I think Scotty and Webby also started doing a lot of small quarter flare combos. That's why I don't know if, I think Scotty was the first to flare whip a small quarter, but I had to be the first one to flare down whip a small quarter.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Something, because Bestwick was doing it a lot, and eventually I learned open whips, and it all made sense. So it was like, okay, how do I get the edge versus Nyquist, Mirra, all these guys? Like, it wasn't like I wanted to like personally beat them, but it's like, oh man, you gotta find a way to stand out.
Yeah, gotta get the muffins.
I want my muffins. And
No, I mean, it's a competition.
It's competition,
and sometimes it's like, you know, I feel like there was a time period where it was like I thought of you as a little bit ruthless of a competitor.
I was ruthless.
Yeah.
I had no soul, and I came for your soul. Like and it's funny because I was never, you know, people you throw. I was never like directly trying to like, you know, confront someone.
Yeah.
You throw a banana peel here and there and see if somebody would like catch it.
Yeah.
Will trip on it, but then eventually it was like, dude, you like. I think it got to a point that I don't want to just win the event because they all crash. I want to actually go and beat these guys. And I need them to ride their best, and so I need to ride my best. Like, it was a thing of competing. Like, even now with the Chinese team, it's like, yes, of course I want to win, but I want Hannah, Paris, Nikita, I want all of them to ride their best. Like that's the true competition.
Exactly,
you know, eventually you do have to give credit where credit is due. You know, like Webby and I had a lot of moments in Europe where he would win. I'd be like, yo, dude, you know you didn't fucking win. I'm going to kill you. But he had the throw task. Oh, fuck, don't kill me. And then I would win, and he would kind of sense like, hey, man, I have the throw task. I'm going to kill you. I was like, oh, fuck, no, man. But
I'm from Caracas.
But I'm come from Caracas. We like crime. What's up? But eventually we developed the respect. Like, he would win or I would win. And if we didn't agree, it was like, hey, man, obviously keep the check and the podium. But we know internally who really won. And then that kind of rolled through that generation of riders too. So for a long time, it was really cool to see like, oh, well, the judges put a result and we didn't agree, but we internally are like cool, like, oh no, you know, you won, or I won. Like there was the respect.
Was there? So we kind of fast forwarded. You're living like when all this is happening. Like what was your most successful contest here? I feel like I know this answer.
2008.
2008. I was gonna say 2007, 2008. So.
Yeah, 2007 and 8. I won both U Cups, both X Games.
And so where do you end up moving?
In Greenville. So I moved to Greenville in 2009.
2009.
Yeah, because Woodward was amazing at the time.
So you just literally lived at Woodward 2007, 2008.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8.
6, 7,
and 9.
3 years.
I moved in September of 2009.
Did you move to State College or?
No, I lived at Woodward Camp.
You lived at Woodward
My
for
address
3
was 134
years.
Sports Camp Drive. Attention, Bud's Barn, room number 7, and then I think room number 3.
You lived in Bud's Barn for 3 years.
Dude, I owned Bud's Barn. You came to my Bud's Barn, shit. You better respect the rules, son. Yeah, we got crazy. And then the mini ramp in Cloud 9, I think it was Scotty's mini ramp. And then I took over that bitch. This was my fucking mini ramp. You come to my mini ramp, disrespect me when you bar to foof. I gotta bar foof eyes now. Like, dude, I love that mini ramp, man. I wrote that. But yeah, I lived there, dude. It was, but you know, this time
But you could also say it was Ruben's mini ramp.
But he might have. It was early.
All right.
You know, it got passed on. You know.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to battle Ruben in that mini ramp at that time either. But yeah, the things like I know it sounds crazy to live at Woodward, and I would never do this again.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, I did not care about distractions. I didn't even drink. I didn't really party. I didn't do anything. My first drink was in like 2000. I was 21.
Oh, yeah?
And Nyquist gave me my first drink because he was trying to find a way to beat me.
Yeah,
he could not do it. It's like, I need to get this kid drunk.
Give you the banana peel.
Yeah. And I took it, and it was a good banana peel. Malibu. It was a Malibu, not a banana peel.
drink?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was like, no, Nyquist, this tastes like shit. I was like, no, man, this is really good. But it's funny because I know Nyquist didn't drink, and someone got him to drink, but he was very, like, anti-drinking, too. He had, like, a thing. But yeah, at that point it made sense, and then when it stopped making sense is because I think early 2009, like in the first event of the season, I think Anthony, and Napolitan, he might have won the first one, or he might have got last in the first one. Something happened in the first and second. Like, he didn't do so well.
At what event? Sorry.
At the Dew Tour.
Dew Tour, okay.
Dew Tour is what set the season.
Yeah.
And then I think Jeremiah Smith didn't do well, and I think maybe McCann didn't do well. There were a few guys that didn't do very well in the first couple of stops.
Like, fuck, all these Woodward dudes are losers. I'm out.
Yeah, fuck these guys. No, I also died. I tanked too. Like, we all died.
Yeah.
Like, I got like 10th place in that first, after winning 3 years in a row, and now I lose the first one.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, fuck that. But eventually I get back on the horse. I was like, dude, at least I need to win one of these fucking stops. Like, there's the chance that I can maybe end top 3 in the year end. So I got back on the horse. I tried to ride, and it seemed like Woodward just kind of like, we'll go ride the resi, and motherfuckers will be doing motor whip and fucking tabletop. I was like, dude, this is not going to win the event.
Yeah.
I need to do the fucking 360 backflip tail whip. And you guys are kind of killing my vibe here, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool, we warmed up, and
yeah.
I remember there was one episode that we went to Cloud9, ride the resi, dude, we all did everything that existed and didn't exist at the time. And I was like, fuck, yes, we are back.
Yeah.
And next day, I go to Cloud9, like, I see all the cars, I drank my Red Bull, and I was like, fuck, yeah, it's gotta be another 6 session. I show up and fucking empty. And I'm like, where the fuck are these guys? So they're in outdoor street when it was wood. I was like, all right, I'll go there for a bit. I was like, okay, we'll do this like a warm-up. And this warm-up is 15 minutes, and now it's 30 minutes, and now we're here an hour. And I think I went to foot jump like a fucking miserable softbox, and I fucking slipped and died. I passed away, and I was like, I grabbed my bike, I grabbed my backpack, I was like, all right, guys, see ya. And I went to fucking...
Just drove straight to Greenville.
Yes. I went to Bus Barn, grabbed my shit, grabbed my car, and I just drove to Greenville.
Really?
Yes. And on my way, like, I might have been around Washington, D.C. or something. I was so fucking mad. Like, I had to be on I-95 or something. I was like, fuck, I need to call Dave. I'm going to ask him if I could stay with him. I was like, yo, Dave, what's up? Oh, what's up, dude? What you doing? Man, I'm coming to Greenville, man. Like, is it cool if I stay with you? It's like, oh, fuck, man, I don't know. Like, Maddie just got born. Like, this had to be September. Yeah, she was born just a few days ago. When are you coming? I was like, I should be there in like 3 hours, man. And he's like, oh, fuck. So, oh, man, let me talk to Lauren and see what's up. So he talks to Lauren, his wife, and he was like, yeah, dude, you can come. It's all good. So I go and stay with Dave, and I stay... This is like 2 weeks before Dew Tour in Salt Lake City. Yeah. And I ride and do level of riding like, hey, cold turkey, fucking your hardest trick. And I go and win that Salt Lake stop, which was, and I was like, fuck, man, I need to ride with these guys. You know, like I remember riding a lot with Dave and Laird. Like we would try to ride as hard as we could. And I do this, and he was like, fuck, man, like I need to move where the riding is. So I go back to Greenville, and I didn't go back to camp until 2010. I bought the house in Greenville. I went to...
Oh, you bought a house in Greenville.
Yeah, no, I said I'm out of here.
So that's what I mean. Obviously, I'm gonna grab another China Dales, and I'm gonna grab a fucking sweater. Okay, so 2009, you are successful. You're fucking doing this thing. At what point is it like that? You know, is it 2006, 2007? What's the moment where you're like, I am now a professional rider. This is my life.
2006.
2006.
Yeah, because so after the microwave ramen, my dad was really upset that I'm not making money and not doing anything. But I remember telling him in 2006, like, hey, I just got my first sponsor. Yeah. I'm fucking rich. It's $500 a month. Like, you have no idea how much money this is. And he's like, no, man, I know. You're fucking broke. Yeah. And I was like, okay, let me give me this last year. If I get top 10, I'll stay in BMX. If I get 11th or worse, I just go work with you, or I'll just do the regular life. I'll stop riding. And that year, I end up winning the Dew Tour, and I get third at the X Games, and I win the LG Championships. And
so you had the fucking fire.
This
is my
But like, I think I did not think like, oh shit, I need to go do this because otherwise I'm gonna do that. It's like I knew that I was near something, but I did not think I could win.
Yeah.
I went into this like, okay, I'll get top 10. Maybe I can get like an 8th or maybe 6th. It would be crazy.
Yeah.
But dude, I was riding so hard for so long, and the strategy aspect is because it's not like I was doing tricks that no one else was doing. A lot of, maybe one or two, but a lot of the things were happening already in BMX. It was just how I was putting the run together.
Yeah.
And I get invited to X Games, which I did not think I could, because at this point it was only 10 invites. And they already had the first 8 out. And this is like a month before, and I win the Denver stop. And I remember talking to Diogo Canina from Brazil, and he was like, dude, it's impossible. No one gets an invite to X Games. Even if you want, but there's no way.
Yeah.
And a week later, it's like, Daniel Dhers, you have been invited. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, I saw this on TV. I saw this in the magazine. I got to see Dave Mirra. So I go to X and all that, and I remember when I win the Dew Cup, which was at the time might have been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Remember receiving the cup, and I never really talked to my dad about it.
2006.
2006, yeah. And I remember.
So is that the first one? Who got
no, 2005 was the first year.
Who won the Dew Cup in 2005?
Goodler won Park and Dirt.
Oh yeah, that was
he
the year of the Goot.
Yeah.
All right.
He won 2 Toyota Tacomas, fucking like 150 grand.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it was crazy. Plus all the stops, individual stops. Like,
Yeah.
dude, no, you had to have a fucking amazing year, monetary wise. But yeah, I remember I take the cup, and we just looked at each other. We didn't even say anything. And he was like, okay, that's it. And then obviously I look back and I understand, like, dude, it's impossible that you will live off BMX riding. You are a random kid from Venezuela that can somewhat speak English now, but like, there's no way. Like, you're going versus the best in the world. Like, it's not a possibility. But fuck you, I win. And, and I go into this rampage because, you know, like I did not want to just...
This is really not good.
Oh, it's fucking terrible, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Not trying to dance.
I'm like...
Holy crap.
No.
That really hit me. I was like, that is horrible.
I am sorry, man. I don't even know from what country this is.
Yeah.
But
No,
fuck.
it's okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, so at that point I did not want to just have one good year.
Yeah.
So I think that was the fire.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. And then what year is NORA Cup?
I won 2008.
2008.
2008 NORA Cup Ride of the Year.
And so I always use you as an example of like undeniability. You know, because at that point I felt like you weren't, because people always say NORA Cup is like a popularity vote.
It has some popularity to it.
To a degree, yeah. It's a likable dude. It does, you know,
well, you
cool
have
tricks and stuff
because
like that.
I understand. The way I understand is like it's not just about the ride, and it's like what you're also, how are you involved in the community of BMX? Like to an extent, you know. But yeah, I won. I don't know who won before me. Maybe Beswick.
I think Beswick won.
I think Beswick, me.
Yeah.
Who was next? Maybe Gary or Drew.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember.
This, but
no, okay. Just edit it.
I could look it up. But I won't.
Edit right here.
But when you won that, I felt like it was just the year you won. Fucking, I literally, and I don't mean to call him out, but I'm pretty sure it was Doyle that was like. He's like, fuck, man, I kind of don't want to, but gotta vote. I
heard about this. I think it was Doyle. Yeah.
It was like,
and I understand.
I can't sit, you know, undeniable. Gotta fucking do it. Like,
and I understand because I did not have the best style out there. I just had like a set of tricks that I knew how to do. Like, because people could not figure me out when we went to the event.
Yeah.
Spinner had a few moments. Scotty had a few moments, but you could not overall figure me out. And in 2008 I won every event except maybe one or two. Like it was
It was like literally, for the people that don't know, every single event.
And I was coming off 2007 that I also won pretty much every event towards the end of 2007. I won some at the beginning, and then rocky middle of it, and then I won my first XMs in 07, and then the second in 08. So yes, I remember. I remember hearing this Doyle story.
Yeah. It was,
and I was like, Gary Young came to me, and he's like, hey man. I had to do it, man. I was like, what the fuck you do? I was like, man, I voted for you for NORA Cup. I was like, oh, damn, man. Yeah, thank you. Hell yeah, you know?
See, I feel like you and Gary always were...
Oh, we had good moments and bad moments. And I think, well, obviously with time, everything's good. But yeah, because I met Gary in X Games in Latin America.
Yeah.
He would ride for Dhers Brothers.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Baby Gary.
Yeah, and he had his wild style of riding. Like, I want to say... and now it's a much wiser style, but back then it looked very wild.
Yeah.
And then Baker Jam in 2005 we meet. I think he was with Sarah. I don't know if they were. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they were married, but I think it was soon after. And he was always super cool. But then when we started competing, then things got rocky.
Well, you know, it's funny because like Gary always had kind of that like course dissection too, it was I think Biz at some point joked like that he was like, hey Gary, can you be my run planner? 10% of my proceeds from the event or something like that, because Gary dissected a course and produced runs,
even courses that would not suit him.
That
would have been more like heavy trick, and he would still find
because his hardest box jump trick was a 360 double whip, and he only did them at events.
I think he only did a couple of times.
Yeah, that's true.
I know he did some in the foam pit. I know the foam pit story too. But
well, actually, his hardest trick ever was the one that he did one time, which was the what was it? The 360 knack sea crab bar spin.
Oh fuck! I don't even know.
It barely even exists.
I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah, he did a Stephen Murray jam. That was the hardest trick he's ever done. He did it once.
Damn, unheard. Damn.
I don't think anybody's ever done it since.
No, I think
literally one. I think caught.
You have to catch fucking. Your foot out, like you're fucking dog pissing on the side, like. So, damn, that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
but
he had some corny ass ideas. Remember the front flip that he tried at X Games?
I remember the front flip at X Games.
Yeah, he tried a front flip drop in.
The front flip drop in. Well, we pursued the front flip drop in right after him.
Yeah.
He did, and then I did some in the vert rest. Yeah, we fucking crank. Just eek! And I remember exploding in 1,000 pieces, and I was like, fuck this. And then Scotty came and did fucking bar manual front flip.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, fuck, imagine he does this at the contest.
But Scotty did it right with the pedal pressure and shit.
Gary
and I went
to Gary was just...
We went to the bay, and he just did it off a 2-foot dock into the water a couple of times,
oh,
and that was it.
That's pretty wild.
Pretty funny.
Did he ever front flip like a jump?
No, never. That's what I mean. He was like, in the same sense, like X Games made you kind of like, he was like, oh shit, like I'm going to do my normal stuff, but I think I can do a front flip drop in. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, and at this point in time, BMX was very creative too. And this would have been perfect for him, because even though it was so foreign to him that it almost made sense that, yes, it's something he would do because it's so foreign. Because he did weird stuff.
Yeah.
Or like weird, not like weird, like Matt Berenger type tricks, but it was like very creative style of riding, But yeah, we definitely,
butted some heads,
shocked because we never fought, but there were moments that, he was the nicest asshole in BMX. And I was
he gets that rep a lot of times.
No,
when he cuts you down, it really hurts.
Yeah. But I understand, I remember we did like a Boise X Games, and this is the first time a bunch of the guys that ride in Fise come to X Games, and we had like fucking 2 hours of practice, which
it was an invite.
Like it was invite, and they get to ride because if you do well here, you go to X Games.
Yeah.
And we're riding there, and these guys come from the Fise. You get 15-minute practice, 100 dudes go and die, and now you have 2 hours. These guys did not let him take a run. And I remember Gary just like, what the fuck, this guy? Well, no, he doesn't swear, but
he might have,
but he was like, oh, I was like, Gary, shut the fuck up! I'm trying to fucking ride. That obviously, like, what? No, it's okay, man. It's like the fucking Fise. But I remember Because he didn't. I don't think he cared about speaking his mind when like something was not right. Because I understand, yes, you don't want people to not give you a chance to drop in.
Yeah.
But I think I was like, Gary, you're kind of like this sometimes, man. Just so you know, this is how I feel sometimes when you go. So you know,
how's it feel?
How's it feel? But yeah, man.
It's funny when you can like. I'm sure you have this with a lot of dudes. I mean, that you had moments where you guys were like. Like, I don't think, fuck, you like, I mean, I'll just say, like, fuck that guy, you know? But then you look back, it's been 10 years, and you're like, yeah, we were in
different
competitive,
mindset.
and now I've let that go.
Yeah, Webby and I had a moment that everybody thought we were going to go out, like, fight.
You and Gary?
Yeah, no, me and Webby.
Oh, Webby, okay.
Dude, you don't want to, you cannot beat Webby, it's impossible.
Yeah,
like, you fucking massive dude. And
Yeah.
even with Scotty, like, I think with all, at some point, we had to have done something that pissed each other off.
Yeah.
Like, you are competing and, you know, egos are running high and tension is high because you're at the competition, it's fucking hot. Like, you had a good or bad session, like, and you're trying to win or you have an injury. Like, there's so many factors that now when you go to this competition,
fucking girls mad at you. That's true. You're fucking like so life it hits and you have to drop.
And you have responsibilities and money could be tight or not. Like there could be a million things and yes, the slightest thing can just throw you off because it can throw you off in an aggressive way and you start arguing and fighting people, or he melts you. Like how many riders you see like, oh, he's going to win the event and then. You know, like it, and it's not like he's not a good rider. Like there could be so much that eventually something gets to you, man. Like
So, 2009, you are in Greenville. You're in the mix. How long do you live in Greenville? You bought a fucking house, so I assume it's a few years.
Lived until 2013.
And that's like the Losi documentary basically is this time period.
I moved right around.
You're not in it. In that
I had a
sense.
couple clips, so he finishes as I was somewhat moving there.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. Like it comes out like not long after I moved there.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's around that time, like a few months later or something. But yeah, it's around. I lived the demise of Greenville.
Yeah.
When like all dudes, like we started getting a bunch of dudes from Australia, and they started basically headbutting. Headbutting. See, my English got weird now. Headbutting the locals like Lair and Austin and Foster and all these guys, and they just did not start getting along. And then Deutero started shrinking. It went from 5 stops to 4 to 3, and now it's invite only, and now only 1. And now these guys were coming with no money, hoping to make some money, and now they cannot even go to the event. And or not the originals, but the guys that lived at Greenville, they all start moving out. Like Kelly Bolton moved out, and then James Foster moved out, and Chris Hughes moved out. Like that generation. Laird stayed, but he would not come to the warehouse. Oh, those fucking guys, I don't fucking want to ride with them. And then Austin also is like, nah, man. And
Austin Coleman?
No. Well, Coleman was there, but he might have moved right around the Australians coming.
Okay. Who'd you say then?
Austin Hardy.
Oh, okay. Who does the helmets?
He does the helmets and the bike restorations.
Yeah, cool.
So he stopped going, and all these guys stopped going. So yeah, I lived the demise of Greenville. Also, Dave stopped riding too. Like he has stopped 2000. I was kind of the reason he retired. But
so
not me. Not like, hey, retire.
Yeah.
But we used to talk a lot of shit. All the time. And we are in Salt Lake City, due tour 2010, and we're riding this long and low. It's like 16 foot long, 6 foot tall. You had 2 10-foot quarters. This is the only way you get speed. You have to air this shit and fucking go. Like it was kind of gnarly. And we're sessioning this for hours. The beautiful 6-hour practice that we had. And I remember he jumps one way and then airs fucking Mirra height and then comes back and he Superman C-grabs like heart attack. And he's like, this is for you, Daniel. And when he comes back, he misses the fucking hand and just fucking tumbleweeds down to his demise.
Yeah.
I think he broke his hand or a finger or something, and then.
Dude, I think I was there.
You had to be there.
I didn't go that many Dew tours though, but I think I was there for that one. And
I want to say you were there.
Yeah, and he didn't ride the event.
No, fuck no.
It was like, but he hadn't really been to too many events before that either.
Yeah,
so it was like his grand return.
Yeah,
and then he got hurt
and this
in practice.
and
I remember, I haven't thought about that. This is a new old memory. Yeah. But I remember he says that in the fucking air. Yeah, and he eats shit.
And dies. And just fucking cartwheels. And like, to me, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to talk shit. Because obviously he had the better Superman cigarette.
Yeah.
But then I remember, I talked to Perazza later. And he's like, yeah, man, I saw Dave just walking with his hand in his hand. I never talked to him. Like, he never really met him, had a conversation. I was like, Kevin, you fucked up. You had to say something to the guy. And then Dave, he came in 2011 to Ocean City to ride another Dew tour.
Yeah.
But that was the last time he rode. So when in 2011, when he stops competing, then he starts getting into triathlon. So he doesn't come to ride anymore. Like, he will come to the warehouse and talk, and we'll go to dinner.
Does he touch a bike?
But does not touch a bike. He didn't touch a bike for maybe 2 years.
All or nothing, basically.
Dave.
Can't cruise around.
And then he comes one day and he brings his bike, like, yo, what's up? I had remodeled the park and everything. And we're riding, and he fucking does like bar tuck on the hip. We're just like, dude, you really not riding? It's like, no, I haven't touched my bike in like 2 years. I'm like, this is fucking crazy, because you need coordination.
Yeah.
But then it's also Dave, and then it's like, yeah, man, and he rides a little bit, and then he goes and you sevens the resi. I'm like, this is kind of fucking crazy. You haven't really rode a bike for so long, and you're just doing all these tricks without a problem. So it was gnarly, but that had to be maybe the last time I rode with him too. Like, after that, I think he might have cruised at some point with Mancuso maybe later.
Yeah, I heard he built the vert
ramp. They built the vert ramp.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I lived Greenville when he started. Once Dave stopped riding and these guys came and these guys were leaving, eventually I was like, dude, I gotta do something. So that's when I started looking into moving out of Greenville, because the fucking airport is only one flight.
Yeah.
A week, basically.
Yeah.
It's only one fucking city.
So I got to stick on Greenville a little bit more, because obviously Dave steps back from BMX, not using the warehouse. It eventually basically becomes your warehouse. But then even before that, like that Nyquist Mirra fallout phase.
I lived through that. I didn't know this was happening when I go to Greenville the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are these guys not friends? It's the Miracle Boy and Nyquist. I was like, no, man, no.
It's Batman and Robin.
No, man, they're not talking. And dude, it was tense. I remember going to the Dew tours, and, because I was riding for Haro.
Yeah.
I'm psyched. I'm going to be in the fucking Idols fucking team, and now one of the Idols is not there.
Yeah.
And start his own brand. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, Dave, why'd you do this to me? But yeah, no, it was, but yeah, so it was weird. I think I was one of the only few that would ride both warehouses. I would ride Ryan's late at night, but I would ride Dave's early in the day.
Yeah, because that's when Dave kind of rode too.
Yeah, Dave always rode early. He never rode at night, and I think the unit guys always rode later in the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I lived that part, and I forgot about it. Yeah, they were not in speaking terms.
I mean, when we did the Nyquist one, he talked about kind of how the divide almost made people, they had to choose a side.
They had to choose a side. Yeah. And then you will see, like, I remember a couple of the guys, I'd be like, yo, what's up, man? Like, what's up with him? And he's like, no, he's cool to come, but like, he's with Nyquist, and he wants to ride there more, and that's okay with me. But if he wants to come, it's cool.
Yeah.
But another body. Like, he kind of was
between the lines.
He was a little bit like, fuck, he's not on my side. But also, it's like he didn't have a problem with him. But I think, at points, be like, you kind of need to pick a side.
Yeah.
With me, I like the warehouse more, so I rode it was also a lot my style of riding. But I remember for the while, I would go to the unit pretty much every day too. I would ride Dave's during the day, and then I'll go to JC for like an hour, and then, like, just to make time to go to the unit, I would ride at night.
Yeah.
So back then, dude, I rode a lot, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you said 10 hours of woodwork.
Dude,
it's like,
I would go sleep, at midnight, 1 a.m. because they will shut down, I think, the lights at 10 or 11. And until they shut down the lights, I would not leave the building.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. So were you, like, working out too in this, or was it just
Nah,
pure BMX?
my workout was like, yeah, man, you know what? I gotta go work out. I go to the fucking gym and grab a weight, do some bicep curls, and then fucking try to. I don't even know, like do some fucking barbell press or something, and I was like, yeah, man, I feel fucking great, and then like, yeah, I'll go tomorrow, and that tomorrow never came. I started getting into the gym way later, like more like 2013, 14.
Okay.
And because this is when BMX also starts changing, events start dying, things don't happen in the US anymore, Europe takes over. And then you start, and Logan started appearing more, and he was the T1000 man. Still is the T1000, you know, it's like just fucking, he has to go. So obviously I'm a lot older than him, so you need to find how to stay or pass him, or you're gonna be left behind. So working out start being more relevant, because also, the body needs it. It's not so much about getting bulky. It was more about like, stay strong, try to whip this bike a little bit more efficient. You have these runs that are kind of complicated. We also start traveling more around the world, so even like when you add the jet lag part, like imagine when you come to Asia, it's 12 hours if you're on the East Coast. Dude, if you're not fit, the jet lag kills you.
Yeah.
Like it kills you already, but if you're not trained, goodbye, man.
Yeah.
And when you come to Asia, he lives in this time zone, because Australia is only like a couple hours away from China.
Yeah.
So then you're trying to beat the guy in this side of the world is not that easy. You know, we will come to Asia 2 or 3 times a year.
It's crazy because you went through the Scotty. You went through you grew up in the Mirra Nyquist.
Fucking,
who else is dominant? Who else is dominant?
Bestwick started fighting Dave on vert.
Yeah, but like in the park scene, like who?
I think they were the main podium? Two. Like but you also had Alistair Whitten. You had McKay. You had Unclicked. You had Fanberg. You had
all those dudes, I guess. Yeah.
Winkleman, but Winkleman I met him, but I think we competed once or twice. But I lived some of that scene.
But then
Morgan.
you get the Scotty,
and then
Scotty, Morgan, Gary,
Goodler, McCann, Spinner, and then Spinner, Webby, Logan, Sandoval, Bulldog, Mad Dog. I fucking had to fight all these motherfuckers.
Yeah, dude.
God damn. That's why I'm retiring. Bye, man. Fuck, dude. This is fucking good, but goddamn, I'm tired of fucking trying to beat these guys, you know?
Too good. So you move out of Greenville 2011. Okay, hold on. I'm going to have you rewind. Redbull. When did they come?
Oh, shit. That happened in 07.
07.
Yeah.
So, almost 20 years, 17 years
17
Redbull.
years, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that comes in. Redbull is obviously like...
Well, in 2006, so this is kind of like a weird... I don't believe in universe and fate and all this weird shit, but I go to Denver due to in 06. I win Denver. But in this event, like, dude, 4 or 5 people knock their teeth out. Mm-hmm. And it has something to do with the altitude. You're not breathing right. Brain is all fucked. You die. Yeah. And a few people got hurt, and I was like, dude, fuck that. I don't want to lose my teeth. I'm already missing one. I don't want to get even more fucked. So I get on a full face helmet. Bestwick gives me an all full face, and I black it all out, but I put a Venezuela flag on the helmet. Yeah. And I go to X Games. And when I go to X Games, Hayes Willis, who's the guy that signed Pastrana for Redbull, he worked in Panama at the time, and Panama took care of all South America, or part of South America. And he was like, fucking kid from Venezuela at X Games, this is weird. Because I think I might have been the only one ever, actually. I don't think anybody ever went from Venezuela. Yeah. So he calls Redbull Venezuela, says, hey, there's this random kid there, keep an eye on him. So Venezuela hits me up, like, hey man, this is middle of 2006. Hey man, we saw you at X Games, congrats. Let me know when you come to Venezuela, it'd be cool to meet you. Okay. And either before a due tour or after a due tour, I would get an email. Hey man, good luck this weekend. Or hey man, I saw you did well. That's cool, man. And I happened to go to Venezuela in like February of 2007. And I was like, hey man, I'm in Caracas. Do you want to meet? And he's like, yeah, when can you? I was like, I could go tomorrow. Yeah. And it happened that Hayes was there too. Oh shit. So randomly it's like, hey man, what's up? And we sit at a table and they're like, yeah man, do you drink Red Bull? I'm like, yeah, man,
I've been stealing that shit for
actually,
years.
I've been stealing that shit at Woodward for a long time. I'm trying to, go into the legitimate business and not commit crime anymore. And we laugh, and I was like, dude, but having the helmet would be the ultimate, like, recognition. He's like, well, you want to ride for Red Bull? It's like, hell yeah. So I started riding for Red Bull then. And then, well, life is crazy. I ended up really moving to America, and then Venezuela closed down, so my contract switched countries, and it's been a mess. It was a mess. Now I'm just straight international, and the communication is so much easier.
Okay, so what you bounce like? Because I know they have like they break it in regions, even within states. So.
Yeah. So the Red Bull is divided, obviously, in countries, and then there is like a country that would supervise a few others in the United States because it's the main market. It's such a big country, it's divided in regions. So at this time, because Venezuela closed down, I think Panama was the headquarters of the region. So I get moved there, and then I think dad moved to Colombia. And then athlete managers, things like people on Red Bull, they move a lot, like around a lot, man. So my athlete manager will be here 6 months, and then he'll get moved to another country, and then I will get a new athlete manager. But I was living in America, so to an extent, there was not a problem because anything that I knew, I would just call Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And Kendricks was my athlete manager at the time, and then Ilana, she was in marketing, but she helped me a lot because we were always doing stuff. So yeah, it was super easy. I think it once I started going more to Europe and the US started slowing down, I finally got an athlete manager that he's now in the US. His name is Logan Short. He was there for maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And that was very steady. And once he was leaving, I think we finally talked to international, like, hey man, I cannot be switching team managers every 6 months.
Yeah.
And I remember I flew there. There's like, hey, I'm the new team manager. Let me know when you come to Austria. I go to Austria. He's like, yeah, I'm not your athlete manager anymore. I was like, no, come on, man. But then
I mean, it's gonna happen over 17 years.
Yeah, of course. But I was traumatized.
When you first get on, are you on that Venezuela salary?
There was Venezuela salary for a minute. But also, the thing with Red Bull is a brand that will want to work with you even before success. Like and although I just won the Dew Tour, I was still pretty early, pretty young, and even signing with a brand is not so much of like, oh, here's a check, here's a logo, see you in 2 years when your contract is up. It's like it takes months for the vetting process because they want to make sure that you have the personality, that you have the potential, like all these things. So at the time, I remember I had an offer from Monster, I think, or Unbound. Like it was one of these brands that were associated with Monster, and it was double the money. But first, I had looked up to Red Bull for so long, and I was still in their product and everything.
I mean, it was like the peak of the Red Bull projects and all that stuff.
And also at this time, I was traveling a little bit. I think the Metro Jam in Singapore was coming up, and XM Shanghai was coming up, and there were a few events coming up that I was like, dude, there's Red Bull in all these places. I think it will be a lot easier to connect with the brand there and do things, or if you need, because at this point you start feeling that they're taking care of you. It wasn't just like, here's the check. It was like, hey, where you going? No, I go to Louisville. Okay, I hit up the athlete or whoever works there to help you at the airport. And even just the simple stuff like that, like, oh, just a ride to the hotel, or hey, you want to go to dinner?
Can make a huge difference.
And it did. So over the years, obviously the relationship is great, but it's because you look after each other, Like every beginning of the year or the end of the year preparing for the next, it's like, hey man, how can we help you get better? And typically it's, oh, just give me more money and I'll figure out. But it's not. It's like their network of things. Like for example, hey man, like I have a knee problem. They're like, we take you to the APC, which is the Athlete Performance Center. Now there's one in Los Angeles, so it's a bit, or it would have been closer to me when I was in North Carolina. But you go and you do all the testing, everything that you need, to make you the better athlete. And it's not just like, oh, he got hurt, fuck, what do we do? It's like, you need you have a project where you want to fucking jump out of the sky in a parachute and break all these records, let's do it. Because the owner was always very into sports. He passed away, I think, last year, a couple of years ago.
The Austrian owner.
Dietrich Mateschitz. He passed away, but I never met him in person. I met his son. But to my understanding, Mr. Mateschitz, he was very into the progression of sports in general. He was like a fan of sports. So he wanted, obviously, to get the best ones, and because also the product is the best, they have made sure that it is the most recognizable energy drink out there. And, you know, you also need the people. It's like he's a fan of the sports, and also he knows that this sports can help the brand grow.
I mean, the Red Bull thing and how it's changed into like a media company.
Yeah, well, they created so much content.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah, content pool, and then they have the Red Bulletin, and they have all this stuff where it's like they become a media house, and then it's like it's incredible over the years. Like some of those like projects that I got the privilege to work on, the Tyler one being like the Fernagle one being like the pinnacle of it, the Detroit stadium,
the stadium,
the Lions Stadium thing was like such a cool thing to be like, look at this, like, look what I did here, grandkids, you know?
But that was one of the cool things is like this project, they could have brought fucking Steven Spielberg to shoot this, but it's we want the guy that knows how to shoot BMX. You know, like one of my first projects, because he was in South America, I was with someone else, and to me the project was a really cool idea, but very poorly executed. Yeah. And after that's like, come on, guys.
It still happens. Like, I mean, even like the Tensio project, he did like fucking half cab flare off this thing, you know, and it was just shot so crazy.
There was some crazy shooting in there.
Just like chill out.
It was a little bit,
It's not your first like, pretend it's not your first project. Don't overdo it.
Well, but also BMX is shot certain way too. So it is, and I learned after it was the project where I'm in a truck, the moving truck doing the tricks.
Yeah, that one was cool though.
But I hated the filming, and dude, it got re-edited 8 or 9 times, and I hated all of them. And at one point, it's like, Daniel, we cannot re-edit this anymore. It has to be released. And I was like, well, fuck it. But
I remember thinking it was cool. Like, but I mean, it was like a little.
I like the idea, but not the execution of the filming. Because again, BMX to me was filmed a certain way. You know how props, or the ride videos, or like the FBM videos, like there were some. You might not do the Red Bull projects like that.
Truck eating a light bulb.
Yeah. Fucking ding with a bottle. Set shit on fire. But BMX needs to be filmed certain way. So after that project, it's like, hey man, we need to fly someone. So I did some stuff with JC Perry from France, and those projects, because he's also very artistic and knows how to shoot BMX. Then the projects, I would do very simple stuff. I remember one time I was like, dude, I don't have it in me. I'm maxed out from trips. Max you'll get is fucking down with.
Yeah.
And he shoots it so fucking beautiful. So I do, you saved the project, man. Thank you. That's when you know you have a really good film. It's like, hey, man, fuck you. I'm not feeling it, man. Can you make this table clicked?
Shoot it from really low. All right, I'm going to use the restroom and then
get it.
Red Bull. Sorry, we had to take a little break there. I don't know if that was defined or not. But Red Bull, 17 years. And then when... not related in any sense, when was the first year you did Cashroll?
2009.
2009.
Yeah, HB. It wasn't very clean. I landed.
You cased the fuck out of it.
The fuck is a very strong word to use around here, Ryan, but yeah, it might have been pretty fucking terrible. And the problem is like the way it was set up, the quarter, I had to alley-oop air the quarter. I turned right, so I had to alley-oop. And I landed a little low, but dude, I was so terrified of this trick that I had to just fucking huck it and send it. But I know I didn't have the speed. I needed to go extremely fast.
Yeah.
Like even in Cloud 9, because I would use like a front flip force really hard. So I would go at the maximum speed that I had in Cloud 9 to clear it. And in HB, I was fine. I didn't do any in practice. I knew I could do it because I was also, this is the time before the internet will blow everything away.
Yeah.
Like Scotty will fucking ride and do some shit that you didn't know until he does it at YouTube and you're like, fuck!
Yeah.
I was fucking going to win this event. And then he comes and does front flip tail whip.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have heard rumors sometimes, but different. So
you keep at that point you're keeping things on the wrap, kind of the Gutler story, but then it got a little real. Where
yeah. Now you're living it in your own skin. But I mean, I knew this trick would have been very difficult to copy at the time.
Because you can't describe. It's not
hard to describe.
Adding two tricks together.
I remember Catfish filmed one and I was like, dude, if you fucking post this, I will fucking sacrifice you, I'll cut you in the fucking gut. Like I threatened him, and he's like, no man, it's so good, because I think he had his website, Catfish.
Oh yeah.
So I like, I'll fucking kill you, man. I don't know where you live, but I'll find out. But yeah, he kept it on the wraps until because I wouldn't even do it in front of people at camp. Like I would keep it pretty on the low.
Makes sense.
And then I did it there, but it wasn't clean.
So where does it come from? Like how do you think of this? What it is, a front flip?
I wanted to do 360 front flip.
Okay.
And I tried this for like 3 days straight. So I would like go and then twist, and I would land 270 all fucked and jacked. And at one time I was like, dude, I've been trying the same for days, nothing is happening. Instead of looking forward, I'm gonna look back. Okay. I'm going to do this, but once I do this, I'm gonna look back and see what happens. But yeah, because I'm torquing, like I'm twisting, I guess when I did this, I don't know what I did. I just know that I landed straight. I was like, what the fuck, I landed straight. Yeah. Because I could not get straight. I kept landing sideways. So after I did that, I was like, fuck it, I just look back every time. So that's why it was a 180, backflip 180. Yeah. But the motion of it is like you're throwing the weight forward. Yeah. It's just like you're not going like this, you're kind of rolling on your back. But I was never really good at front flips, like long distance front flips. That's why Brad was able to do it cleaner. I did it at Fise in 2010, and a few months later he started doing it, and he does it in dirt.
Did you teach him it, or did
he? No, I would not teach anyone this trick. Hell no. This is absolute fuck no, man. I ate my motherfucking muffins, man. And this was the muffin. This was the holy grail of muffin.
So the name, obviously, Cashroll. Yeah. I could make the logical conclusion of why you call it the Cashroll.
This was gotta be the fucking.
One, you like sushi.
And I like money. Especially at this time. This is fucking Lil Wayne era. Yeah. Fucking, we all had crazy jewelry and shit, where you have the fucking car rolling on dubs. Fucking, dude, you are like spending all this money trying to look like a rapper. So it was like, dude, this trick's gonna make me so much fucking money, because no one will be able to replicate this. Yeah. It will be 10 years until
there was videos about dudes trying to learn it, because it was so funny, because you didn't have the mechanics, because you said 3 days, and then it kind of happened by accident.
And it happened by accident. And it's hard to explain that.
It's like the dude in the lab, and all of a sudden becomes a superhero.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chemicals explode in his face.
Yeah, and this exploded in a lot of people's faces, but yeah, I end up.
Shout out to BMX.com, at BMX.com, if you haven't seen that Instagram account. That is, it's basically, it's gonna splice that together.
I need
right there.
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'll look
exploding
into
in people's faces.
Damn. Well, the Cashroll did explode in a lot of people's faces. But yeah, I did it at Fise that year after, and I did it clean. Like I did it. It was like back then you had like the runs and the last trick, so I did the last trick. And then I remember I was in the fucking plane traveling to Portland, Oregon for the Dew Tour, and I land and I get a text message, hey man, Mad Dog just did the Cashroll on dirt. That small motherfucker. Because he had to be, 14, 15?
And he popped him. He did crazy.
He understood the concept, and then later on I had to ask him on how the fuck do you clear? Because then I started having troubles. Like the thing with certain spins, like you learn them and then you lose them. Yeah. Front flips, sevens, Cashrolls, you learn them good, and one day they mutate for some reason, and I could not really clear distance. So
you had to ask him.
Eventually I had to ask him. I had to fucking
hang your hat.
I had to like, Brett, please help me with this fucking trick. How the hell do you go forward? And then he explained me the concept of the front flip, like where you pop the front flip, because I was trying to spin quick, and it was more like go like if you're doing a lawn dart, and then but you do the mechanics of the Cashroll, and I do it and I clear distance, and then it's like, oh fuck, he's back. But then I battled this trick for years, and then I did it and I stopped doing it. And
that's what I was gonna have my next question, because I credit you as being the inventor when we talk about it.
Thank you.
But then you don't do it anymore. When was the last time you've done one?
Did one a few months ago, I think.
Just for some bullshit and on resi or on a real box or what?
No, I don't mind if it's resi or wood. Like I don't have like, oh, I do it here.
Yeah.
I'm more old school, but no, I don't remember. I want to say I did it here in China, in one of the boxes.
Okay.
But I know I did it on the resi. I might have done it in Shanghai maybe.
So, but recent.
Yeah. Somewhat recent. The last few months. I hurt my meniscus in June, so I haven't rode much this last few months. But and I Cashroll in the Olympics. And then I Cashroll the spine right before the Olympics, I think. I wanted to Cashroll the spine there, but dude, they fucking build this spine It's the same trick.
Is that the one where your tires blow up? Is that the?
I tried in Abu Dhabi later, and that dude passed away.
Fucking Nyquist.
Son of a fucking bitch, man. Nyquist has no respect for. But
we're gonna have to splice in some clips.
Yeah.
For this one.
No, I mean it's my fault for riding like shit, but I was not meant to land cement and all fucking over.
So the question I feel like people are gonna. If I don't ask it, when people do cash rolls these days, are they actually doing cash rolls?
No, not many. And I think not even I do a cash roll the way I
invented it.
It was meant to be. But also now the boxes are a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And you need more speed, so I know a lot of people started riding brakeless, so you they're a bit more twisty. There's not as flipped.
Yeah.
Brandon still does them very flipped.
Brandon does him.
He does him pretty
like different.
OG,
when you see him, you're like, whoa! It has that secondary rotation.
He does him pretty well. I want
because I think of a cash roll thing now as like what Pat did a lot. And I feel like Pat just like it became like this back roll thing, but it was something. It was like he could race or a jump now.
Yeah.
When the jump was hard to clear, he could cash roll it.
Yeah. Well, there's the concept of the front flip, so you can.
Yeah.
But yes, because you're twisting so early. Now you already missed the part of the flip.
Yeah.
Like if you go very slow in the motion, then you will have a moment to flip, but which is why Brandon I think does it so well. He like pops it and he takes his time to rotate. I think Pat he started like twisting hard because also he was brakeless, so he needed to find pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I started doing the same thing. I think mine might have been a bit more cashy than his, but I know we were pretty similar. When he was a long jump, I know he was just fucking whatever fucking happens. But
like Brady Baker's.
He does pretty okay cash rolls.
Yeah, they kind of do.
I think they are pretty OG.
Almost like between Pat's and
Brandon's. Yeah. But eventually, it's like you remember Matt Hoffman's fucking flare.
Yeah.
It was fucking straight scorpion and then 180 and he did
flip
it.
180.
Yeah. And then K-Rob starts doing the corkscrew flare and it's the same trick but it evolved into the better version.
Yeah.
Because Matt would have not been able to carve it at this time doing it like that. It would not have made sense. And K-Rob just started carving it, and then Mirra started carving it, and then the flare mutated into like a whole new thing where eventually you didn't know if it was a 540 now.
Yeah.
But because the 540 is the upright 5, but if you carve it, now it might look a bit flary.
Yeah.
So I think it happened the same to the Cashroll. Yeah. Front flips too. Remember when they used to be like very like pronounced, like stop, and then go?
Yeah.
Like I remember Gerber doing it at camp, and he was like, "Dude, he stopped mid-air, and he's going to die." Now he's from
Gerber, but dude, it's crazy though because like I will say, and I mean no offense to you, but like Mad Dog's cash rolls, incredible looking because they're so abnormal, and then you bringing up Gerber's front flips. Yeah, it was like he did a fucking
he stopped in the
8-foot air. And then did a front flip.
And he wasn't like the one you like look forward.
Yeah,
it was just like he fucking just jumped straight and then it's like, see ya.
Yeah.
And just fucking front.
And so it's like, dude, the execution on that stuff. I feel like if somebody was to do that, because we're at Fise, China right now, if somebody were to do that tomorrow, people would freak out. Either one.
Yeah, that same way. Yeah. But I think it's natural evolution of some tricks. Tail whips used to be very clunky. Now people go like, and it's 4.
Yeah.
Like imagine Spinner's first quad whip. It was somewhat clunky compared to like Kieran's quad whip now or Logan's. Like Logan did, I think Oppo quad the other day, And that didn't even look... Well, he's kind of his... I heard that this is his actual original tail whip, and then he learned the other way. Kind of like Jamie.
Yeah.
But either way, his upper quad does not look like Spinner's first quad. Like Spinner, you can see that he was swinging Logan and just has a better technique. You know, it's like the evolution of the trick. So I think it happens with the spins too.
Yeah.
You're trying to be quicker, or the jump is bigger or something. When I did the spine, I was just like, oh, okay, spin harder or faster or something. So but also I can't push forward. Hence what happened in Abu Dhabi, and I fucking died. But also I cannot try to pull up and then land fucking sternum on top of the coping, you know, like I avoid landing sternum if I can.
Yeah, I choose flat over sternum.
I choose flat, but fuck, man, that one hurt.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to the main timeline, 2010... 2011, you're still in Greenville, correct? Kind of phasing out of Greenville. Yeah,
still in Greenville. I leave in 2013.
Yeah. What's the reason?
Greenville died.
Greenville
Fucking,
died.
He died.
But I mean, like, okay, so what? So I don't think we ever touched on you taking over Mirra's warehouse. Mirra's like,
well,
I
was gonna say the warehouse was the last thing.
Yeah.
So Dave stops riding, and one day, we actually had a bet one day of if I took my brakes off, I would get $5,000. We were right before due to Orlando in 2009. He was trying to fuck me good, but I was fucking coming hot.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, D, you wouldn't take your brakes for $5,000." I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Look, I gotta do a 7 white knuckle and a 7, and I come up the rest." He's like, "Yeah, you wouldn't do it. Put your money where your mouth is." Because I knew how to fucking get him, this is the very Dave thing. And he was like, okay. And I was like, all right, baby. So I went and took the brakes off, and I did all my tricks brakeless, and I went to the U-Tour. I ended up getting second at that U-Tour.
Yeah.
I ended up doing it, and then I stayed brakeless for a while. So at some point, and this might have happened to a few people in time, at some point I wanted to collect my $5,000. It's like, yo, Dave, you remember this bet that we did? You owe me $5,000. It's like, yeah, man. Man, you know, dude, I was thinking like, maybe the warehouse this. Well, maybe you want a key. It's either a key or I give you $5,000. If you get the key, you ride whenever. I was like, this motherfucker. Like, yeah, just give me the key, man. It's okay. He wasn't riding that
maybe
much.
Maybe if you got 20th. You'd be like, nah, I'll take that $5,000.
Yeah.
But since you did
good,
I
was fine.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, just give me the key. So I take the key, and then, I don't know, a few months later, a year later, he's like, hey, man, I'm going to get rid of the warehouse unless you want to rent it. I'll rent it to you for cheap, and you can do it, keep it with, I think at this point, with Goodler. So we go into the warehouse, and then I can't remember.
So does he own the warehouse outright? Like, because I know the story for Nyquist is like he literally had that thing built, and that was
it's
like
the same with Dave's. Dave bought the land and did the building, and then did the
just
ramps.
Owned it outright.
Yeah, all straight up.
Paid utilities and
everything. Yeah. So I remember one time the fire marshal came. And I was like, they want to shut us down, Dave. He's asking me for fire extinguishers. Like, no, fuck that, man. It's a private property. Neither of us knew the code. You gotta have the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he owned it.
Yeah, fucking America. Fuck
that. Where's my fucking freedom, man? Fuck this guy. And then I'm gonna fucking call that guy. And then he calls and it's like, yeah, man, we have to buy fire extinguishers. Like, motherfucker, man, I gotta spend all this money in fire extinguishers now. But after that, at one point, he's like, hey, man, I gotta get rid of it unless you want to rent. I'll rent it for as cheap as I can. So I start doing the warehouse. And at one point, years later, I was like, hey, man, let me buy this from you. It's like, oh, let me see. I was like, all right, let me buy this from you. And I did this for like 6 months. And eventually, I was like, all right, he's not gonna sell. And I was like, let me look for other buildings around and maybe I'll just move out because also the scene was dying.
Yeah.
And I wanted a bigger airport. I could already see that the events were going to start happening more overseas. And traveling to Greenville, it's still a nightmare. There's still only one. You can only take the Charlotte flight, you know. So one day I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll move. I started looking at places. The Holly Springs thing happened. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, I'm moving here. And he was like, oh, shit, you are actually moving. I was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to buy this fucking building. You're trying to sell it. And he's like, yeah, no, man. And I understood because the warehouse was such an emotional thing for him, you know. Like, his life was very around this building, you know, like his effort went into doing this, and now he's not riding, but it's like you want to still have it. It's like that car that you fucking love, and you want to have it, you know. So I understood. I think later on it would have been okay, but I think at this time he was still not ready. And
you know, it was probably those lingering thoughts of like, oh, maybe I'll come
back,
kick it off again, and I want that.
Maybe I want to have a place to ride. Like, I can see that. And well, like when I was moving out, I think he was like, fuck, man, I have to get rid of all this shit. So he was like, dude, if you take these ramps, you can keep them. Like, fuck, yeah. So I took all the ramps.
Oh.
I had to pay for the demolition
of
taking all of this, but I took it, and then I took it to Raleigh, to Holly Springs. Yeah.
I didn't realize. I did know this because I went to your opening and I could see there was like remnants, like the
with all the ramps. Most of the ramps were
some paintings on the ramps or something.
A lot
like
of their stuff. We tried to keep the skate light with the paintings.
Yeah,
I still have the skate light. I saved it. I sold the park in January, so I don't have the park anymore. But
okay, so what year are we on when we opened?
2013.
2013. Okay.
I opened in 2014. And so we built in 2013.
So you went from Holly Springs. How do you land on Holly Springs? You you like North Carolina, obviously.
Yeah, well, I looked into moving to Florida, to San Diego, to Colorado, to Arizona. But this time, Fise started going international. I started traveling more. And then I had a friend in Raleigh that was like, hey, man, maybe I can find a building here. I was like, she mentioned it a few times, and eventually I was like, dude, just if you find it, just call me.
Yeah.
And then she found a realtor, and he came to Greenville, and he saw the park and the buildings. Yeah, I have the perfect place. And then we went and saw it, and it was the perfect place. And, you know, she was helping me do the move while I was traveling, and the LLCs and the insurance and all the legalities of doing this. Because then the question was, okay, do I do this for me and my 6 friends?
Yeah.
Or should I do this for everybody? I was like, well, it makes sense to give back to BMX in some way, and yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, but this is a logistical nightmare that is difficult. It's already kind of difficult, and it's even more if you're not in the country and you're traveling and time zones and shit that you have to do.
Rely on somebody who's your friend, but are they capable as well?
Well, she was, and the project got going with her, and you know, and the park comes to life. Because it was the logistics of, okay, now I have to tear down the warehouse as I'm also traveling, you know, and that is a pretty hefty project. And then now to rebuild all this stuff, like just transporting it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Because you need, you know, Kimbler was fucking cutting these things, however, so it would be the least amount of work to put it back together, but you need it in enough small pieces that fit the container.
Yeah.
So, dude, it was a nightmare, man.
Yeah.
I do not recommend anybody opening a skate park or moving a skate park or anything to do with a skate park.
Even when you get all the wood and you get everything for free.
Even if it's free, man. Like, if I call you one day, like, hey, man, I gotta give you a ramp for free, do not do it, man. Unless it's for your backyard. Do not open a skate park. So the park comes to life in 2014.
Yeah.
So I kept it almost about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then
that's a long run for an indoor park.
And it's still there.
Yeah.
But
it is, yeah.
Yeah, but my heart was not in it anymore. I started looking into moving back to Caracas, and I was like, damn.
Too far. 2014. Opens up. I go to your opening. Your staff or something fights that night. It was pretty hilarious.
Chelsea fought.
Everybody got really hammered. And I had to fly.
My friend went to prison.
That night, right?
He went to prison because the girl wanted to drive drunk, and he's like, I'm not gonna give you your keys. And then she called the police, and he got arrested.
It was a shit show of a night.
It was like a shit show.
I was literally the next day. I was like, that was funny.
This is the beginning.
I was like, I want to beat this one dude's ass, and I was pretty sober. I got pretty tight at a point. I was like, dude, you need to fucking settle the fuck down. Like,
so who were you gonna fight? You remember?
I don't know. It was just some dude, but he was on the bus.
It might have been maybe Chelsea's boyfriend or something. He was pretty fighty-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, like, at this point, the antics of BMX were so enrooted in all of us that we had to fucking go and either destroy something or destroy ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, this is the BMX not many people know. So, well, I think the people that go to Swampfest understand this side of BMX do not know.
The events have changed over the years.
Oh yeah, no, they're shit.
The
I'm sorry to say, they're definitely not the same, and they're not as fun anymore.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I'm also leaving. I've been around for a long time, but also it's just not that fun.
So let's sum up like 2014 to 2019, like because or maybe when the Olympic fire happens. Like
yeah, so we get announced that we're gonna around 2017 we get. Because they talk about the Olympics been going on for decades.
Yeah. And you're still doing well at contests.
And it was okay, but I thought about retiring in 2020. Like retiring from competition and I'll figure out what to do.
I had a conversation with you in Japan X Games. Maybe it was pre-COVID?
I don't even know. If it was X Games, it might have been after COVID.
I think it was, when was the first, I feel like it may have been the COVID year.
COVID was 2020. The Olympics happened in 21.
Was there X Games Japan in 2019?
I don't think so. There had to be Fise Hiroshima.
No. Yeah, it was X Games, but I think it was before Olympics. So it was like the X Games, the COVID year, where we were like kind of locked down in the hotel.
I didn't do the COVID year because it was... They didn't do COVID year. 2019, I think I did X Games maybe...
They did X Games 21, sorry.
But I was not there because Olympics was the week after, or a couple weeks later.
No, Japan. Sorry.
No, COVID X Games Japan was 22. Because Japan stayed locked for fucking ever.
No, 2019.
Really?
Yeah, there was one because Rim won it. That was the year that was the course was like finished. You had 30 minutes of practice.
This was 2019?
Yeah. Where we showed up and the...
Oh, I remember this was the worst X Games possible.
Yeah, it was not a good...
Course was already well, they've been a disaster for a long time, but this one was extra. And the practice, we had to take 8 runs each.
Yeah, 2019.
We had to take 8 runs each of like 42 seconds or something crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. You guys got to drop in 3 times for 45 seconds before the contest. I don't know, dude. Because now it's saying X Games China. Okay, whatever.
I think you're tripping.
I'm
tripping. I know we talked about this.
Yeah, we had a conversation and you were like, I'm fucking done. Like, I'm going to get through. I felt like you were like, I'm going to get to the Olympics and then I'm done.
But I had to be for this Olympics. Because for 2020, in 2017, we get confirmed BMX is going to the Olympics. And because this conversation has been going on for a while, and Fise was the one getting us there. So they started series in 2014, and around that time, UCI kind of comes into the picture, and then this is the way to go into the Olympics, and so it is a possibility.
Yeah.
And in 2017, they get announced. I win the Fise World Tour that year. I was like, fuck, man, in 3 years I could make it. It would be cool to go to see what is this, because also we never had the Olympic culture, but it was like, let me see.
I mean, you're 31 at the time?
No,
32.
I was like 30. Well, yeah, it had to be like 32.
Yeah, 32.
Yeah,
so
32.
you're like, dude, I'm fresh.
Yeah, but
I got a park, I got a training facility.
Yeah.
3 years, I can do it.
I can still party.
Yeah, I can still party. Yeah.
So I go like, okay, I'm not gonna retire in 2020. I'll try to make it to the Olympics. And I try to make it to the Olympics, and then we get postponed because of COVID. 2021, I go to Olympics, I win a silver medal, and I'm like, oh, but Paris is only 3 years away. But I did not think that those 3 years was gonna be insanity. So obviously my life changed right after Tokyo, because I go back to Venezuela, and now I cannot even open the door of my hotel because there's people outside waiting for me. It was like fucking Michael Jackson resurrected, you know. And like, you know, it's so weird how like living with Dave and all the things that I saw Dave do and happen to him, then it somewhat happened to me in my own country. And it's crazy because I think living with him prepared me for what came, because it's very easy to lose your mind.
Yeah.
In this moment where you have no peace. I could not do anything, man. I had a security guard to go to the bathroom. Yeah. It wasn't for a crime. because the crime in Venezuela also chilled down. Like it's pretty safe now.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the reason I'm moving back. But I just could not do anything. Like if we went to party, I could not party. I had to go and call and either rent, or they will give me like a VIP where it's just me and, well, if my friends were coming, okay, but sometimes I just want to go with a couple people and you have a room that is massive, it's just, hey, what's up? And you're like, damn, I could have 100 people here, but I don't want 100 people here because they won't let me sit down.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even like my friends were okay, but then their friends would not be okay because it was like a crazy stardom thing. Like the people lost their mind.
So how many Venezuelans have gotten Olympic medals?
There's only been 4 gold medals and I think 6 silver medals.
Yeah. So you just got catapulted into like stardom.
Fucking insanity.
Like you gained, I mean, just like because it's, I think the scale for kids to understand or normal people is like you gain like 400,000.
Something like that, more. Yeah, I had like 100 something I think, and I went up to like 6 something.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, it grew, and the thing is, like at one point, I know that there was not a more famous name in the country than mine. Like I could seriously, all of the news every day. Dude, I remember I took like a little trip to the biggest waterfall in the world. It's in Venezuela. So I go to the fucking jungle, and I had a crew, like a filming crew, a bunch of people, and it was cool. And there was a girl from, I don't even know, somewhere. And she's like, hey, can we take a picture? She was pretty nice, and we take the picture, but I don't see her, like there's nothing to this. This is not like, oh, you saw this girl or something, like nothing. And like, I don't know, 3 months later, she posts a picture and it fucking goes viral online. Like this is it was the news, something like the girl that took the photo with Daniel. It was like the most random like headline.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. It was just that, like, oh, this is it.
This is an article about her.
No, not even. There was not even an article. It was just like,
thing.
Yeah. And I was like, this is kind of crazy because it's like a random photo. Like it has nothing. I don't even know. You know, like you made it into like the TMZ of your country now.
Yeah.
And then, like I told you, there's people waiting for you. Like
there's an old, and this is a very off kilter. I'm honestly regretting even bringing this up. Chris Rock skit where it was like the Bill Clinton controversy with Monica Lewinsky, and he was like, "Imagine having a dick so famous that you."
I think this was Dave Chappelle.
Was it Chappelle? I thought it was Chris Rock. Yeah, but it was like. I was like, damn, like that
you're so famous. Yeah. That's like your dick, and now you're famous.
Yeah, and it's like,
yeah. But she didn't even suck my dick. That's the thing. Fucking A, man. But no, it was crazy because, dude, I would look out of the window of the hotel in Spain, and there would be people waiting outside.
God, yeah.
And I will come down because I have to go to the event.
In Spain.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Venezuelans all around the world now.
Yeah.
So dude, like I will go to Argentina. Now it's different. Now it's more chill. Like the euphoria calmed down.
Yeah.
But I remember this, and I come down, and that, dude, we've been waiting for you for 6 hours, and we are calling our friends that were at the other hotel that we heard some riders were there. We didn't know where you were. The first time that happened, I was like, damn, this is kind of crazy, but oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I go to the event. I come out. There had to be 500 people.
Oh shit!
Because
word is out, basically.
And there was COVID at this event, so you could not go in. But I come out, there's 500 people. Dude, photos with everybody, chants, everything, gifts, all sorts of stuff. I'm like, oh, that was crazy. This was in Vigo, and then I go to Barcelona, and I was gonna go to Kyiv in Ukraine for a competition. And I was like, nah, fuck it, man. I'm tired. I'll go to Caracas. So I called my friend, and he's like, dude, I think this gotta be a bit crazy because I get stopped in the street and I was not even competing, but he was next to me at a lot of the parts in the Olympics. Like he was just with me, and
so they recognized him.
And he was like, dude, they're recognizing me. They're asking me for pictures. Like people are noticing me. You will not be able to move around, and it happened. And I arrived. I remember the vice minister of sport called me, asking me when I was coming and when I was going, and I was like. Now I can't even say coming because you tell me this website's gonna just fucking come all over us. son of a bitch. Anyways, just stay out of my face, but at least. So I go and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm leaving Istanbul right now. Beep, and I shut down the phone. They pick me up at the airport. Go to like the special, where all the diplomats go, like the room. And,
like the secret, yeah.
Dude, and like just the press, dude, it was just insanity. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. There's pictures of me still in the airport. Like all around the airport, there's pictures of me. There's pictures of the 4 medalists of that year. Yeah. But I've been going to this airport for decades, and now
don't you have somebody that like prepares you for this?
No, this doesn't exist.
This
does not exist.
That's crazy.
Like even now,
like, hey, like now you're famous.
This is what you should do now. No, and like I melted at some point because I could not deal with the attention. Eventually, I could not sit down and have breakfast. Because also I was staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
So I would go down for breakfast, and every day I had to go either super early or try to figure something out, because as soon as I arrived, seriously, if I opened the door, there was someone, fucking bicycle rider, what's up? Dude. And that's kind of insane that now everybody knows BMX.
Yeah, yeah.
But it went from seriously 0, or some people will sometimes recognize you, but it wasn't anything crazy.
Redbull hat on.
Man, you do accents, man.
Yeah.
But now it's like I know where you grew up. I know everything about you.
Yeah.
And that was gnarly. And I remember I had an event at the Olympic Committee there, and I got so overwhelmed by people that I was like, okay, guys. And they're like, no, hold on. I was like, no. And I just took off running. I jumped over chairs, fucking stairs.
Fuck.
Dude, I became a fucking gymnast and all of this shit. And I tell my friend, he was like waiting at the exit, like, dude, let's go. And I'm getting on the motorcycle, and people are like, no, where are you going? I took off. And that's when I was like, dude, I need to find some. I had a friend that was telling me that I should get a security guard.
Yeah.
And that's when I called her. I was like, yo, man, I do need this person. And he came, and we went and did like a couple of interviews. And even the interviews, I could not go. Like anytime I went to a couple of TV stations, and as soon as you walk in, people will start clapping. And it's clapping until you finally go into the air. And then you're in the air, and the people come down and they hear you talk. And then, okay, we'll be right back. And everybody will just start clapping until the next short. Like it was insanity, man. And the you see a grandma crying when they see you. It's like, you might understand like a random kid or like maybe a dude, I don't know, but you see girls crying, like, okay, I don't know if I'm not really a sex symbol, so but okay, I'll take this. I like this. But then you see like the supermodel, and then you see the TV host, and then you see like a grandma and a grandpa, like. Then you realize that now it's not just...
They're all crying.
They're all crying. But in different moments. Not oh, this was a hysteria moment. It was like, I am walking in the street and, dude, you're so... Oh, my God. And the grandma starts crying. I can't believe what you just did at the event.
It's so... It's got to be so...
Oh, it was surreal. It's still... I now, there's no euphoria where, like, I cannot go places. Now I can move around.
Yeah.
But wherever I walk, I know everybody knows that I'm there.
Yeah.
And there will be some people asking pictures. But now it's respectful, so it's like, okay, I can live a pretty normal life. So it's weird when I'm with someone that doesn't know me, or might know me from like we go now to Caracas. You know me for a long time.
Yeah.
And you get it. You
I don't
hear
cry
it.
When I
you
see
won't cry. I don't think. I'm trying to think. Do you cry? You might have cried when you see me fucking tabletop something, but you don't cry.
Yeah.
But either way, but once you are living it, and it's just a non-stop, like, dude, this is not what I thought.
So going back to like what you said with Mirra, you watched him just like come inward, like go inward, and like
I
close down.
I learned how to be able to be a host.
Okay.
Because you're somewhat hosting people. I also learned on how to, okay, I need to say no, or I need to go. Mm-hmm. Because he was the fucking superstar. He was the rock star of BMX. Like, I don't think anybody has ever been as rock star as him.
Yeah.
So even just watching that through the time on TV and magazines, and then being with him, and dude, I remember walking into France with him, and we give our passports, and the guy is like, Dave Mirra. Like the guy knew him in
Yeah.
France, you know,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
weird. Like I understand in your own country, but now this was international.
Yeah.
And even when he passed away, like I remember I getting text message from all around the world, man.
Yeah.
Like he was the ultimate icon. So, you know, I remember going to the Dew Tours or X Games, and dude, he could not walk from point A to point B. Like it was a nightmare to be around him. He's like, hey man, I'll see you later. And you're like, whatever, he's taking pictures, he's enjoying it. And then you learn that you can enjoy it, but there's times that it's just not for that. Like if I'm going to compete right now, call me after.
Yeah.
But I also understand you might never see me again, so you're trying to
get
your muffins here too, you know.
It's just got to be hard because sometimes you don't want to be social. Sometimes you're awkward. Sometimes you don't know what to say. Sometimes you don't know how to react to somebody crying. You're like, don't cry.
You don't.
I'm a person.
You
it's
don't.
Okay.
You don't know, and then eventually you learn, and especially like somebody will come and ask you for a picture, and it's okay. Yeah. And I say, hey man, like I saw you at the Olympics, it's fucking cool, I love the fucking 7. Oh, okay, cool man, thank you, okay, picture, bye. Sometimes like, hey man, I love the fucking 7, but let me tell you, in 1991 I was born, and then the day I came out of the vagina, I did this, and you're like...
I rode bikes, and somebody stole my bike 15 years ago, do you have a bike?
Oh, well, no, the request comes every day. That still happens, but the weird ones are the stories of like, tangent, and you're like, I don't really care about your life story right now, man. I'm trying to just hang out with my friends. Yeah. So, and you know, there's obviously good stuff too.
Of course,
you get away with a lot of shit,
but a lot of good stuff can be bad. You know what I mean? It can be really overwhelming when you're trying to have this interaction, but it actually and make it meaningful for somebody. But then at a point, it becomes a detriment to you.
The amount of gifts I received coming from Tokyo. I remember I went to like another city and we did an event, and I had like 18 cakes and I had like, I don't know, 16 bags of cookies, and all of this was handmade, plus like, I don't know, flowers, things. Dude, the truck, like the SUV that we were, dude, maxed out with everything. It's like, dude, what the fuck just happened? Yeah. Because also this was pretty early coming back from Tokyo, so... Yeah, all of this. And now it's kind of crazy because when I go to Paris as a coach with the Chinese team and she wins, when then Yawen wins, I'm like, hey man, your life is about to change. You just don't know it. And I don't know the extent in China how this is going to be, but if it's, and you might not be the most recognized person in all because they had a lot of gold medals, but if you are, like, it's going to be crazy. And then the other day I'm talking to one of the coaches and he's like, yeah, man, look what she did. And it's like one of the most famous singers here in China singing. And she's like, ah. And then she stops and then Yawen comes out singing the song live with this person in the fucking crowd. And he's like, what is this?
That's sick.
You know, but also, you know, like she's getting that crazy attention. So the other day I had to talk to her. I was like, no, this will pass. Like, can I give also what happens to you, you know, like now we done 2 Olympic cycles. So now, and I think when people saw what was happening to me because I was posting a lot, it was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. It might have been just a weird situation, but then you see like Maligno's getting it now too.
That's what I was going to ask. It was because he said, just via the dude because when he got nominated for NORA Cup, I was trying to reach out to him and I was like, dude, I have his number, but he's not responding. And then so Sean reached out to him from Monster. And he sent me the screenshot, and he said, Sean, it has been a crazy 45 days. And that's what he said to him.
And it is.
Like, and there was a Japanese girl crying because of him, too, in the autograph line. She was just bawling 15 feet away, crying. You know, like, I was like, is she crying for Kevin? And he's like, no. He's like, no, she's crying for Maligno. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, okay.
Yeah, it is crazy because then you understand that it's not just, dude, when I go to Tokyo, I leave to America and I get on United Airlines and I'm sitting and all the flight attendants came and they knew that I was in the plane. I was like, hey, that's amazing, congratulations. The captain comes out, the whole crew of the plane came out. Oh my God, I had the medal and they give it like a case and it's very heavy, so it's very impressive when you grab it. And I was like, yeah, man, grab it. And I was like, oh my God, can I touch it? And you're like, it's just a fucking medal. There's not much to it. Yeah. I never had that. Not the medal, at least. And they grabbed the medal, and it's like, dude, like, oh my God, the weight of the medal, and yada, yada. And I was like, well, that's weird. I'm not representing the United States, but the captain of the United States airline is saying congratulations. Like, okay, cool. I land in New York, and because of the time change, when I get in the plane to Raleigh, I fall asleep. And all of a sudden I wake up because I hear clapping, and I get like, kind of like, oh fuck, I'm in the van or something. And the guy next to me is like, dude, did you just win an Olympic medal? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, the captain just announced you. I'm like, oh fuck, man, that's crazy. And everybody just kept looking at me.
You were asleep.
I was sleeping, yeah, dude, I was dead. You know how this jet lag is.
You're like, yeah, I'm tired. I won the Olympic medal.
Yeah.
It took a lot of energy.
Yeah. So it's like that's like the weird things. Like, okay, like you won a medal, but I've been doing, and a lot of the riders been doing contests for so long that to you it's just one more event. But then you don't understand the magnitude of it. And now with the second cycle, it's like, okay, I think all these riders have seen like what happened to, I don't want to sound too crazy that it's about me, but I know my medal in Venezuela had a crazy impact that it ripples throughout.
Well,
like,
I mean, even in a sense, I don't know, you probably don't listen to the podcast, but like I've said like, yeah, he blew up. Like we've joked about your paper mache statue.
Yeah,
a couple of times over the course of it. It didn't. They
set that shit on fire, you know. Yeah, because that it was meant to be set on fire.
Really?
Because,
I was just like, dude, that thing is like
fucking crazy.
You had to be tripping when you saw that.
And dude, like I had crazy shit where it's like, hey man, we need you to come for whatever thing here or something. It's like, dude, I can only go. It's impossible. I have no time. It's like, dude, we'll take you whatever. I was like, dude, it's impossible.
Minutes.
It's like, well, we'll send you a private plane. I was like, that would be the only way. Private plane. Okay, go do this. Land, see the fucking Sukhoi fucking airplanes for war. And yeah, man, if you want to take a ride, it's like, dude, I would love to, but I really do not have the time. Like to say no to an opportunity like that is like, okay, and you go do the thing and just bounce a private plane to whatever.
Like Jeff has shot, I think when we did like a Nigel interview, Jeff shot the photos and Nigel shot a photo of Pharrell. And so Jeff had all his stuff set up.
Yeah.
And Nigel was there, I think, while he was setting up, and maybe he had a stand-in or whatever, like at the point. And Pharrell walked in, like 3 minutes. That's all you got. Like,
that's
if that. And it was like 3 minutes, and he was like, of course, super nice to Nigel. All the respect is the idea that he showed up.
Yeah.
And he showed up and paid respect, shot the photos for like.
The few minutes, and that's it.
And that's it. And that's
you get 8 photos and be quick.
Peace out. You know, and it was like,
it's
a crazy world.
It's seriously like that. And I also know, like, when you do the Olympics and you get a medal, this only lasts for a few months. And then, and I knew this even right after when I saw that everything was crazy. It's like, okay, I need to do events and things to give BMX notoriety and sports notoriety. Like, I know this eventually people will fizzle off and it will be just normal.
The frenzy will settle
down.
Yeah.
But dude, it was insanity for just, and yes, there were cool things that you could get not like away with, but like I know I could go to any. I had this weird, like one time there was this singer girl in Venezuela, and she like, I can't remember. We were texting and she's like, hey, come here, I'm at this bar or something. And I go to the bar. And I'm like, she's super famous there. So I'm like, okay, she is somewhere private. And I walk in and she's in like a private room with a bunch of her friends and family. Like it was like more people that I wanted, but it was okay. Attention from everybody. Okay, cool. But it's like at this point, you're kind of relaxed because you know you're with someone that is also high profile. So it's not like the insane fan of that you might find. Okay, and she's like, hey, let's go to this club or something. And I was like, no, I don't think I can go to this club because it would be impossible to be there. No, it's okay, man. Like, I know the people, it'd be fine. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to go. I know what you're saying, but I know it's going to be crazy. No. I was like, all right, let's fucking go. So when we get there, because it was a few cars, I can't remember if she gets out or something. And I lowered the window, and the security guard, you know, he's like, and then he's like, and right away, 2 people come. I was like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Opens the door, hey, man. And my security guard was like, hey, I'll park the car real quick. he's like, when you go in, there's a little room there. Just wait there. I was like, okay, cool. And then he leaves. Dude, there was like a line. And they bring me to the front with her and a few of the friends and whatever. And we come in this little room. And she's just looking at me like, Daniel, I come to this club all the time. I always have to do the line. They never in life put someone in front of the whole line because it's a popular place.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember like, oh, well, I told you it's different.
Yeah.
And security guard comes in. We're waiting and say, hey, we're trying to get you a table because you'll be crazy. Okay, there's a table. I walk through. Dude, people just drive, oh my God, just
screaming.
They're kind of insane, and obviously there's music and stuff, so I finally get to the table, and dude, people just would not stop coming. And so my bodyguard is sitting there, and he's like stopping people, and eventually one of the owners of the club comes in, and he's like, hey man, I want a picture with Daniel. And he's like, dude, just give him a moment, he just got here. He has not stopped taking pictures with people like through the day.
Yeah.
He's like, no, but this is my bar. He's like, no, I understand. Just let him at least get one drink. And he just ordered some drinks. Like, just give him a second.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this guy took it the wrong way. And when I kind of see a little bit, and I tell her, hey, I have to leave. You can come with me or I'll see you later. She's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, in like the next 15 seconds, my bodyguard is going to tell me we have to go because this guy is very intense. Because I could not really hear what was going on, but I could see that it was kind of crazy. And she's like, no, it will be okay. We have to go. We have to go. And so we have to leave. And he was like, dude, what the fuck just happened? I was like, dude, I'm telling you, it's kind of hard to maneuver in places now. Like, I can't.
Yeah. So has it changed now? I mean, obviously it was 21. Now we're in 24. Has it changed long term? Like, I mean, I literally, and you know, when you come, like, you go to Tokyo and you see like Bruce Willis, like, advertising toothpaste or something like that. If I go to Venezuela, are you doing like random endorsements?
Not at this moment. There's the pictures of me at the airport. When you walk in, I basically greet you. So I'm like, welcome to Venezuela.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not like me. It's not an advertisement. It's like something from the Olympics they put there.
Yeah.
No, not right now. I don't know. Venezuela is really weird with endorsements. Right now, the only thing that matters in the country is football, soccer.
Yeah, yeah. Ronaldo.
I wish we had him.
What's his first name? Who is he for Dennis when he listens to the podcast?
For
Ronaldo. Didn't you say that? Wasn't it you that said you're like, if Dennis doesn't know who fucking Ronaldo is?
No, I don't think it was me, man. I was a different Daniel.
It was Jose earlier.
But I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo. He will have to know Cristiano Ronaldo.
No,
though.
he doesn't. That's the joke.
Nah. Well, maybe he doesn't know him in person, but he has to know of him. I tell you this: Cristiano Ronaldo knows about Dennis Anderson.
What?
Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
I don't think he knows what BMX is.
No, yeah.
But no, like right now, soccer is what matters, and Venezuela is weird with their marketing. But there's, I know I've seen.
But you moved, but hold on. Yeah. So from my perspective, it's like, all right, Daniel jumps up, whatever, 500,000 Instagram followers. His posts are now in Spanish. Yeah. And then you close down the park. And
I didn't close down.
And then you didn't close down. You sold the park.
Yeah.
And you moved back to Venezuela.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, all right, Daniel's celeb status, he's crushing it. You know,
I do okay.
You know, 3 chicks in each arm or something like that. Finally using all the Albi's signature.
Dude, those ran out a long time ago, man. For the people who don't know, I had a signature condom with Albi's back in 2007. That shit ran. Fucking, I don't think it lasted one due to, man. That disappeared quick. I might have some old ones, but I wouldn't trust. I didn't trust them then. Imagine now. But no, I moved back because eventually, dude, I've been living outside of Venezuela for 23 years.
Yeah.
Because I moved to Argentina, then America, and I love America. I have my American passport too. Like I feel very American too. But eventually I was like, dude, when I retire from riding and competing, because I want to still ride, but I don't want to compete.
Is this thing still red? Yeah. All right, yours is still red too. I see it glowing. I keep looking. Yeah.
So I know eventually I'm gonna retire from competition. I don't need to be training at the highest level. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And Venezuela is obviously a lot cheaper. And also it's like, dude, I miss home. Like I've been gone for so long. Like maybe in the future I will come back to the state and then really spend time. But I'm like, dude, like if I'm done competing, I want to ride when I feel like riding. I want to do the tricks that I feel like doing. Like the other day here at the course, I did like a wall tap on something. I would never wall tap something at a competition.
Yeah.
It does not matter for the judging standpoint. But I was like, oh, there's this thing I can fucking wall tap it. And I just went and did it. And I was like, damn, that's weird. I never would have done this. Especially back in the day when you're trying to beat all these guys and your practice is so limited. So I decided to move there, back to Caracas, but it was just, I think it was meant to happen. Like I had to eventually go back home and I eat my food and my friends are there. Yeah. So my family is not there, but my friends are there. And then also, so this is another weird part. So I become an American citizen, and then the Olympics is about to happen. So I could have switched countries. And there was a conversation about it at some point.
You being on the U.S. team?
Yeah, like me just switching nationalities, because you have to do it through the UCI, and now you will be representing the other country. Yeah. And at this point, I had to be really up in the ranking. It was like I could have made USA team. Yeah. I think I could have made USA team. I might have been kicking out after, because these guys then really got into it. But at this point, I think I would have made it in. But I was like, you know what? Like, if I win a medal for the U.S., it will be just one more medal. I am from here, but I'm not born here. Like, I don't have the same as, like, if, like, Nick Bruce wins it, or Justin wins it, or Marcus wins it. Like, it's just not the same. But if I do this in Venezuela, I know, like, people will have attention for BMX and sports and stuff. Maybe after my country going through so much shit for 20 years, it's like maybe I can do something for the society there and be more focused into sports. So I end up deciding and also I represented Venezuela for so long that I was like, it would be weird the last 2 years I switch.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to the Olympics as Venezuela.
But it doesn't come without challenges, because if you're going to Venezuela, because you have to qualify as a country in a lot of ways. I don't know how, because I wasn't really in the weeds for Tokyo.
For Tokyo, but when you're
making this decision in 2017, it's not like, oh, I'm not competing against Nick and Justin anymore, and I'm good, and I'm going to make it to the Olympics.
At this point, you had no idea that they would say, like, you need the two scores, the two top riders from each country bring the fucking.
Because that's the reason that, like, Peraza didn't qualify, is because
he had it against. This was crazy, because when the Tokyo one happens, 5 countries will go through ranking, but USA, Australia, England, and Russia all had fucking 4 amazing dudes. Yeah. And so yes, when Australia makes it or USA makes it, the problem is like who goes for that country. But these countries are basically guaranteed. Yeah. So I remember arguing this, like, you're kind of leaving only one country to go in through ranking, and then the quota from the Worlds. And the quota from the Worlds is like you gotta have a good day that day. Yeah. It's not, I don't think, a true representation of the riding. Yeah. Of your level. So
a good day a year earlier too, basically. Yeah,
or 2. Like, like it happened on this cycle. That was a mess to understand. That it was insanity. Yeah. So the going into Tokyo when this happened, dude, I had to strategize the events and everything. It was crazy, because I'm like, I cannot rely that I will go through the Worlds. I need to try to make it through ranking, and I end up going through ranking, and then I think Jan and Kenneth go through the Worlds.
So you were the 5th country.
I was the 5th country.
Yeah, because by just you fucking going to like C1s and random.
Yeah, and my friend that went to Tokyo, he did the national championship and a couple C1s in Venezuela. Okay. He had some points. Okay. And he got everything. Dude, at this point, 1 point, they spent 10 grand to fucking get it. Like, it didn't matter. You had to make it in. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I would have qualified if I made it in the US, because then they got fucking crazy. And Justin was coming in hot. Yeah. And Nick was coming in hot. And Sandoval was coming in hot. The thing is, Sandoval, I don't think he ever slowed down. Yeah. And then the year of the Olympics, Sandoval was at the absolute maximum riding capability. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen that level of riding that much in my life, man. And he was at the maximum.
Sandoval's incredible.
Fucking
literally
man.
incredible rider.
I remember that
He was
world.
at X Games Japan recently. Like
Yeah,
the best
yeah,
trick
yeah,
contest
yeah.
was like, all right, did you get all 3 medals there, bud? You know,
He should
like,
be able to fucking get it. He's doing the 3 best tricks,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So pretty crazy. So I can't remember the
timeline.
Oh yeah. So it was you moving, I guess. So after the Olympics, why does the park shut down specifically, or get sold?
Well, running the park is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Everything to do with skate parks is a nightmare.
Yeah.
You deal with all the possible, just the complaints. Like, hey, I went to the park and the park is closed, and you're like, why is it closed? Oh, staff didn't go, or whatever. I have a problem because my kid, I don't know, something.
My kid fell down.
It's not even like we never got sued over crashes or anything, you know. So, like, we tried to keep the park pristine so there was no negligence, but then it got to the point, it's like, dude, I cannot trust these guys. Like, what if they do leave a screw out and then kid gets cut in half and now you have to deal with this?
Yeah.
Now I'm in fucking Somalia doing some stupid C1 to qualify to the Olympics. It's like, you know, eventually I lost the soul for it. Like, I got tired of the problems, and then the money was tight. It was always an issue. I was putting money off my pocket for a long time. The last 2 or 3 years it did okay. They broke even, so I was like, okay, I can keep it, but I don't want to fucking deal with all of this just to break even.
Didn't for a little while was it USA BMX or was it Redbull that was like kind of subsidizing?
Redbull.
Redbull,
because so then Tokyo is about to happen, and a lot of the riders moved to North Carolina.
Yeah.
I think the park had a part to do, and then also the riding that was happening, because I inherited Mirra's program, man, and cold turkey, go die.
Yeah.
And we all died. Like there was no like in between. You have to do your hardest. So a lot of people moved, but then COVID happened, so a lot of people then left. But Nikita stayed. She got on Redbull, and then Redbull wanted to do a big push for women BMX, and their project was to get a building across the street from my building to do a park for women BMX to train. I was like, dude, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
So in the conversation with Redbull USA, I was like, hey man, you can help the park. We can do everything that Nikita would want to do, because obviously it's funded by you. And she's not gonna come with something crazy like, hey, I want a fucking purple rail that no one can ride. It was like, hey, I need the stuff that's gonna help us. So, you know, through that project, it helped the park stay alive for the next year or two.
Yeah.
And they could do anything they want, and they all have keys, like anything that needed to happen to make this happen. Because I was like, I almost got rid of the park last year or the year before. I can't remember. There was a moment that I was like, okay, I'm done. And that was like the last moment that Red Bull was like, no, we'll take care of this until next year. So just don't close it, because I found a tenant that could take over my lease.
Okay.
And just take care of take the ramps out, everything. I had to spend zero money.
Yeah.
Which the problem is not just you do the park. It's like now you have to get rid of the park.
Yeah.
It's it's a big expense.
To build their own park.
Or just even destroy it. Just if you demolish it, this will be 20 grand. Just try to take the shit out.
Yeah.
You need the dumpsters, and like, dude, it's so crazy when you start thinking of all of this. So then it stayed, but towards the end, I knew the Red Bull thing was gonna end, and I rented a space in the park to the scooter farm. They were based in San Diego. I think they closed the shop there, and they put all the efforts in there in the East Coast. And eventually it's like, hey guys, I need to get rid of this. If you want to buy it, you can buy it. If not, I'm just shutting it down and I'm done with this. And they were like, yeah, we'll take over. So I sold it to them, and they're doing their thing with the park.
That's cool. It's still there.
Yeah, they kept the name. I think they're switching it. They were,
it's still Daniel.
It's still Daniel Dhers Action Sports Complex. But I think the sign is there. But I know they changed a few things online.
Yeah.
Obviously, they wanted to keep it for the Olympics.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I was like, dude, whatever you can help for the publicity, like people to go. But the reality is that BMX has fucking died, man. Like it sucks to say, but BMX is pretty much done. And Scooters are big. It's a lot easier to get into. It's a lot cheaper. You learn tail whip in fucking 30 minutes, and that's what keeps parks alive. BMX is a lot harder. You might know more through the industry.
I may disagree just because I feel like indoor parks like that where parents can like be like, all right, Timmy, go inside. You're locked in a building. There's people to watch you.
Yeah.
And so I feel like those places attract scooter kids because like it's the same for ironically Gary runs the park in San Diego, and it's the same thing. It's daycare.
It's a
They're
daycare.
locked.
Yes,
There's one entry. There's one entry, one exit.
But now you're competing with other daycares that doesn't put the kid's life at risk.
Well, yeah, helicopter parents are the biggest enemy of BMX. Video games are the biggest enemy of BMX. Not necessarily like scooters and stuff like that, but like I think there's little hubs because I feel like I don't. Dude,
but one thing is that
seeing like, dude, there was like a 6'3" dude on a scooter down in the lobby.
I know.
And I was like,
massive.
that is a giant.
Yeah.
And I looked at the scooter and I'm like, the scooter.
Well,
is
but
giant
one thing
too.
is the skate park, another thing is BMX.
Yeah.
So skate parks, for what I've seen, the indoor parks are really heavily scooter based. Like don't know
indoor parks,
of any park that is heavy BMX based. And I asked people all around the world, and then asked the shops, and usually the shops or the brands like, well, we do okay, but dude, the numbers are not the best that I've ever been. So what I see is like, okay, BMX was the fucking coolest thing in the world to the entire world. And then you got scooters. And well, a kid can get a lot easier into a scooter. It's a lot cheaper for a parent, it's easier to transport, whatever. And BMX, just like skateboarding, is always been very judgmental. Oh, you wear this fucking sweater? That's gay. Bye. Well, in scooters, like, oh, you have a fucking green mustache? Fuck yeah, you're weird like me because I have fucking red hair.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like the most random thing. So I saw through the life of the park how like kids will switch to scooter, or there are some scooter kids that switch to BMX. But I think it's because they want the respect that BMX will get. Like scooter for a weird reason, because they do some fucking gnarly shit, but they do not get the respect. So I can see like Jordan Clark is a scooter kid, amazing scooter kid, but he dabbles with BMX. And the other day he got second place at the national championship in Britain, which the UK might be the hardest country to be top 3 at.
Yeah.
Because all those dudes are fucking amazing. So it's like, damn, dude, like, and now, like, I always respected his stuff, but now it's like, damn, you're coming into BMX, I'm glad that I'm out, because you could be a problem in the podium, you know?
Yeah.
So I see that, and then at the same time, like, the older dude, now that I went to college, and he's like, I have some money, he's like, okay, I want to ride, it's like, oh, but I could do mountain bike. And it's a lot easier on the body, and it's cooler, and I'm with my other, I don't want to say rich friends, but friends that have also money, like, we're not scheming anymore.
And I can suck at it.
I can suck at it and no one's gonna fucking tell me much.
Exactly. I feel like that's the key. Is like that's the key with mountain biking, is that I can suck at it and nobody will make fun of me.
And in BMX, so I think
you have to be good at BMX.
You have to be good, and also what I think it happened is like it shrunk the age bracket of BMX. So now it might be 13 to maybe 21. The bulk of it.
Yeah.
So it is a tough age because you're still in school, kind of. Parents are, hey, you have to go and fucking do some things because they're not gonna give you the money.
Yeah.
So now your resources are limited. You cannot buy many bikes, and then you have to also travel the world to compete. It's not, and then you can say, okay, I'll stay in the lifestyle aspect and go maybe in street riding. It's a lot more accessible, but I know there are big street riding communities, but it's not. I don't see it happening everywhere how it used to be.
You had like a Redbull article that talked shit on street riding.
Yes, I probably hated it at the time, but
oh my
what did I say about this?
It was like something about like it being illegal and not respected, and street riding is a problem.
Street riding is illegal in certain places. When you go and fucking grind a rail.
It's all illegal. Like BMX is illegal in San Diego to ride at any park.
Really?
Yeah. Still.
Fuck California. That's why.
I mean, it's great, but I mean, it's a problem in a lot of places. But I mean, you know, we don't need to diverge into that too much. But I think BMX is definitely in a weird spot, and I think shit needs to shake out with mountain biking. And I think in my world, scooters is like less popular than.
It might be less popular.
I see those motherfuckers all the time.
It might be less popular than BMX, but it's taking shares out of BMX.
Well,
That's what I mean.
But I think,
it's not like they are bigger than us,
Yeah.
but like what any kid that goes to scooter is like one less kid that you get for BMX. It's one less bike, one less potential BMX rider.
I see that too.
That's where I'm like, fuck, man. It's not like when skateboarding. Like if you're a skater or BMX rider, they were so separate.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're a swimmer and a runner.
Scooters, BMX, and mountain bike are all in the
We are in a
family.
similar bracket,
Yeah.
so that was kind of the issue. And
I still think video games and helicopter parents are the biggest obstacle, because when your kid bleeds these days, you're like, oh my god, I don't want him to get hurt, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like,
it happens.
and also too, I think a lot of parents, at least like from what I've seen, is like they're always like, oh, well, what is he gonna do? And I'm like, who gives a fuck?
Well, so this is
like,
where
stop even worrying about it.
So this is where the street is illegal. So if you're not going to compete, you're going for the lifestyle aspect of BMX.
You can do something and just have fun.
Which it might, yes,
you
but
you don't have to be successful at it. You can.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, in a parent's mind, it's like, okay, my kid is 16. He's not going to be a top competitor, so no way he's going to the Olympics. Because as a parent, you will think, okay, my kid is in gymnastics and she might make it to the Olympics by this age, whatever. My kid is now riding bikes in the street where it's kind of illegal. He gets in trouble with the police, in trouble with the fucking security guard. He can get robbed by whoever fucking knows in California. Well, anywhere really. Like, it's not like street
Caracas.
Could be, not anymore. Back in the day for sure. But it's like, to an extent, it's like, if I'm a parent, this looks fucking illegal as fuck. I don't want him to do this. Because I see, again, it's obviously controversial.
But it's also the most accessible version of BMX.
Number one.
The most consumable, the most like,
number one.
Whoa, I agree. I can do that.
I agree.
Looks fun.
But
I would like to.
Can the 16-year-old go and buy a BMX bike without the parent?
No, but
that's the problem. It's like it's such a fucked up age. At 19, you might, and that's the thing. It's like with street riding. You know, I think street riding also has come a very long way from what it was maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it also there's a competitive aspect that even though it's not the bulk of street riding, it does give a certain line of image.
Yeah.
Because again, I just lived this through the park. Like when you saw, they were like, we bring our kids here because we know they're not going to hang out with the kids that are doing drugs at the park. So it is the daycare. Yeah, no, for sure. Give me your kid. We won't do drugs. Yeah. Don't worry. But the ones are not going to the private park. They go to the public and they go ride street or wherever. When you see street riding, like, because it's a lifestyle street ride, I don't condone it. Some of my friends I like better when they're on drugs than when they're not on drugs. But it will be very difficult to sell a bike to a parent because the parent will buy the bike for the 13-year-old.
Because it looks counterculture.
It's because you might think. Like,
I get that, and I get that. It's definitely.
Like, I don't mind it, man, and I love the antics of BMX and all the illegal shit that's happening in BMX and fucking Lou Bickle destroying shit and motherfucking fourth grade fucking, kicking people in the teeth. Like, yes, this was a part that you were also very into. One of the reasons you were also very into BMX, but
that's why you fell in love with it.
Yeah, of course, because dude, and you love to watch an FBM video because like, dude, these guys are fucking crazy. One day I want to go and do that.
Yeah.
And not long ago we were at a Baker Jam in I don't know if it was Milwaukee or
the Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin one, and like we go in and I can't remember who was set on fire and walked inside the barn that we are all sleeping at.
Yeah.
And he comes out and comes back in and people were getting set on fire left and right and all of it. And I'm filming all of this and I'm having the best time of my life.
Yeah.
And I posted this clip on TikTok, but years later.
Yeah.
And TikTok obviously flagged it like, hey, this looks dangerous, whatever.
It was.
And it's obviously reckless and irresponsible, but I was having the time of my life.
Yeah.
The guy set on fire was having the time of his life. Everybody's consent is, to me, this is fucking fun.
Yeah.
But then I think that was one of the moments that I was like, this is why then an aspect of BMX will be frowned upon or not. Because if this is what you're showing, yes, then the parent will say like, this is the Olympic medalist setting people on fire. Maybe my kid should not ride BMX and go do something else.
This is my off kilter opinion as like that doesn't work for like I want to see BMX thrive and I want to see it do well, but also at the same time, like kind of like fuck everybody if you can't hang with it and because there was a certain thing where I feel like if you've been riding BMX for fucking 10 years, you're the certain same level of crazy.
Yeah, of course.
That I am.
And I think
and so if you couldn't make it that far, then
you're not part of us. No, I agree, and I think that might be the actual point of this whole conversation of scooters and mountain bikes. It's like I don't think BMX will grow more.
Yeah.
It may not even the Olympic side will grow more. Like the Olympic side, I think is maxed out. The level of riding will grow, but not the amount of participants. And it might happen the same in street and dirt and whatever, vert and flatland. Like I think we are constrained by the amount of people that will go in. I think whoever makes it in and can hang for the few years, I don't know if it's 10 is the number, it might be 5, might be 3. I think then you have a person that will be in BMX for life that will buy the products and will keep the industry going. But I just really do not think when I see brand new fucking bike company from who knows where start, I'm like, please stop. There is not enough market share anymore. There used to be.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like, I think you will get a loyal customer. I just don't think you're going to get 20 more.
Yeah.
And even within brands, like, I don't know, if you like S&M and you like fucking Shadow, it's like, these two guys are even different.
But also BMX needs that new breed.
I agree, and I think you will have.
Like with Moeller, he's like, who's the next one that's going to carry the torch? He's like, I fucking carried it for a long time. He's like, Bonner, Robbie, like those dudes were that generation. And so you need like Billy Perry.
Brand-wise, you mean?
Billy Perry and Mike Brennan to start it because that's the newest bike company. Okay. Rickson is like, they literally like announced it last week. So like, but like Billy Perry, $1.5 million YouTube followers.
Okay, but.
And it's like, he's a lifelong BMXer. He's going to start a brand. And it's like, hopefully he's the next one to carry the torch.
But this is a possibility because it's not some random fucking brand from a guy that rode BMX and decided, hey, I'm going to call Taiwan and make a fucking 100
you
frames.
Can't do that shit anymore. Really.
Billy Perry could be different.
Yeah.
I think eventually because it happened and Moeller's been around obviously for a lot longer, but
Moeller's tired.
He's been
doing it for too long.
Well, I'm sure he wants to stay and be around it for sure, but eventually he was not gonna want to go to S&M and open the fucking shop and write a report. He
wants to do what he wants to do. He wants to make cool shit, do what he wants to do, fucking be at the trails,
and
have fun.
look at even Bonner, like. He's a lot later than Moeller.
Yeah.
And yes, he carried the torch. It's just like they're still in the same era. But yes, brands will happen. It's just like, again, when I see a random brand from who knows where start a brand, it's like, dude, come on, man. Like you can, but I don't think it will be hard to be successful if you don't have a soul. You have a theme, something. Cold came.
Yeah,
like Robo, basically, obviously, I understand the problem with Moeller and the whole thing, but like. He started a brand later after the whole thing with Fit, and then the brand has thrived and it's there, and it's a beacon also of riders that identify themselves with the brand. So he's carrying the torch also for later when Moeller says no and Bonner says no and all these guys that have been around say no. It will happen, but it's not like Robo and 16 other fucking guys did more bike companies. All the other 15 died.
Yeah.
Or they need to die. If they haven't, please die.
I think from your perspective of like the heydays of the Do Tour and stuff like that, like I think it definitely would feel dead like when you have, like you're going to, you have a series where the top prize is, whatever, 15, 20 grand each event. The top prize is a fucking $30,000 truck.
7 or 8.
Yeah, so it's
gone down. But I think I saw it more through the park, man. It wasn't the contest. The contest I see. So and that's the weird part of the contest, like side of BMX.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the USA growing with more riders to compete. I think the level of riding will keep growing because it's the mecca, is where it started. But I don't see many more getting into, hey, I want to go and do this Olympic route because it's insane. It's difficult. The chances of success is very small. But then Asia did not exist in BMX. Zero.
Yeah.
And now China has 15, 20 parks brand new in the last 3 years, and then you come here. I don't know if you saw the juniors, but
I didn't watch it, but I've seen it. I have to pee again. You gotta pee, dude? You're drinking.
Dude, I ride contests, man. I have the fucking biggest bladder in BMX, man.
So, tangent about the industry over. We're talking about, this is your podcast. Let's not get too much in the weeds.
No,
but you did talk about China. We are in China.
We are in China.
You win. Well, you don't win the Olympics. You're the first loser of the Olympics.
That sounds very evil.
silver medalist in the Olympics. You get famous in Venezuela. You move back home. How quickly after the Olympics do you move back home?
I'm not finished moving back. I'm
so
kind of
do you still own a house?
Yes, but I start renting it. Like so my whole. Actually, I had a car and I just sold it 2-3 days ago.
Bugatti.
Veyron. Yeah. No. I sold the car and I'm done.
Not answering.
I'm done with the car. No, it was a Tesla. It was a Tesla.
A Tesla.
Yeah,
all right. Plaid.
No, it was the era of the crazy craars. I stopped. I was like, dude, too much fucking.
What's the craziest car you owned? I mean, Scotty had a fucking.
Nah, he was number one.
I knew you had an RS7. Right.
I had an.
I think when you picked me up from the airport.
No, it was an A7.
It was an A7.
I was always scared to go all in.
Yeah.
I'm like a more conservative guy. I wanted to look good, but on a budget.
Yeah.
It's like when you fly poor man's first class and you're like in the fucking economy in 3 seats.
Lane.
No, I had a Maserati Ghibli SQ4 or something.
I have no idea what that is.
It was cool. I loved it. Yeah. But eventually, it's like when you go, it's like, oil change is fucking $20 million. You're like, okay, maybe I should get rid of this car.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's just expensive. But no, I got rid of the car a few days ago. So the thing is, like, I decided, okay, I'm gonna move back to Venezuela, and I go and like, okay, I need to go there.
Yeah.
And I started spending a lot of time there. But then I still have things in the United States, so I was still somewhat commuting. And then last year in Saudi Arabia, which was maybe February, I get the formal offer of the China coaching gig.
Okay.
To coach the Chinese team. So it takes a couple of months, and then I sign, and we start in April. But technically, I meet with the team in May at Fise Montpellier for the first time.
Okay.
And I'm with the team since May until recently. I mean, in and out. But
May 23 to July 24, basically.
Correct. Yeah. So I was also trying to qualify myself to the Olympics, which it almost happened, but the politics of the Olympics kind of kept me out a little bit.
Explain.
Well, so when the Olympics thing happened, like the news cycle, the one of the rules is like all of the continents had to be represented.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing was that Africa ends up sending a guy from South Africa, and he's like, cool, man, you're getting a free spot, but like, I think when I go and I tell you, like, me and Mark Webb went to fucking fight and death, and then like, oh, you won, but I should have won, or vice versa, and the other guy is like, hey man, actually you did it, and it's all good.
Yeah.
It's like when he takes the spot, it's like, fuck man, like you are 110th in the ranking, like you're not really having a chance to win.
He's a
this.
great bike rider, but
like, it's not
like,
hey man, you suck at bike riding, and I understand what this means. So I hope like the opportunity of him going, him or whoever is helping organize freestyle in South Africa, takes it and they are able to grow the sport there. Because like, dude, like I had a chance and I was actually, like, I think in the ranking I was even in front of Maligno. Like I was in like 10th or something. Like it wasn't, and Jeffrey from Canada, he qualifies, he was maybe 20th or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't have no problem because like, hey man, like he's actually pretty good at all of this competing and stuff. But when Vincent goes to the couple events and he doesn't, because he will take him time. Like in years maybe he could, but in this point in time, it's like, come on man, like it was not the honorable thing to do when unfortunately BMX is the smallest event in the Olympics.
Yeah.
We only had 12 spots.
Yeah.
One is automatic, which was France. granted, Jan qualified himself, so no problem there. But when you're giving one quota to one country, you're already giving basically like 8% of the quota.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like to me, it was, dude, this is just too much. You know, if there would have been another, I don't even know. Like they asked me and I say, hey, no, and then he takes it, okay, but like.
Well, it happened on the women's side, right? Didn't Switzerland like qualify two women and they're like.
And
hey,
Switzerland say, hey man, this girl's not is not in the ranking.
Yeah.
We cannot send her.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because they gave a quota to Maka. Maka ends up beating Nikita.
Yeah.
So, but it was the honorable thing to do, man. Like if Maka rode better than Nikita at this event, fuck yeah, like she earns it, she deserves it. It's not like there's something insane would have had to happen for me to get last at the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know this, you know, and so it's like, come on, man, you will pretty much guarantee that something crazy would have had to happen for you to not get last in the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know, and also like
Logan falling twice. Basically.
Yeah. But you need the other 11 Logans to fall twice. Like it's just not possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that was my discontent with this. And I understand it's not his fault on how the rules are written, but you can always say, hey man, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
It's just the honorable thing, and we could have the conversation, and you know, we can figure something out in whatever way. But it's just not. To me, it was just not honorable. You know, that was the problem that I had. And it wasn't just me, and it happened that I was in that spot.
Yeah.
But this conversation, it obviously happened with pretty much everyone in BMX.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, dude, I'm going to be upset if I'm on the fucking bubble, and then this guy takes my quota. It wasn't just me. I'm be the one saying it, but everybody was in the same boat.
Yeah.
And, you know, and a couple of guys were like, well, but it's not his fault. I was like, yeah, I agree. It's not his fault that it's distributed this way, but you can always say no. I'm like, what happens if you are very dependent on the Olympics?
Yeah.
Like you need to go. If you don't go because of this, you're gonna be very upset. And when all the cards were dealt and everything, it's like, hey, you didn't go. Yeah, granted, you were the next one after me, or like a few next one after me.
Yeah.
But you were even further out, man. Like you could have almost in. Oh yeah, I understand that now. Now I'm like, it's different when you don't go there.
Yeah.
You know. So that happened, but you know, I just hope that UCI and the Olympic Committee.
Where did the continent rule come from? Was it Olympic wide?
The Olympics wanted the world going with equality and all this stuff. I understand. Yes, get the representation equal men and women, no problem. But when you're starting to add continents and things and countries and things, like why don't you say, hey, we need countries with X amount of GDP, and now I'm in because Venezuela is in the bottom, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just a strange rule of the continents, and I understand why you would do
nobody
it.
really thinks of it as continents. The Olympics isn't about continents; it's about countries.
It's about who's the fucking best.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to go and see the swimmer who got a free quota because he fucking is from a country that there's not a lot of sports there. Yeah. If you're gonna do this, but do it outside of the actual main quota, because again, if we had 25 quota, which happened for OQS, we had 24 for OQS, Shanghai and Budapest, and he was in. Nobody had a problem.
Yeah.
Because at that point, like once you're in the 20th, 25th bracket, you're good, but you're really not going to win the event.
Yeah.
Like if you're actually going to all the events and you're in this zone, you're not. If you get 10th, it's going to be like 15 guys died.
Yeah.
You know, so, and nobody had a problem for OQS, even though I know the countries that didn't go were like, dude, like he took kind of the quota, but it wasn't. It's like, but
their guys weren't really competitive.
But okay, like we're not that good either.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, so at that point, okay, but when you're in 12 people, it's just the room is too small. You know?
So obviously a little bit of a bitter taste, but that wasn't like the spark for the retirement.
No, I was gonna retire after this, and even last year I was like, dude, it's just getting so gnarly to compete. Yeah. And
even traveling, and your travel schedule has been insane.
Oh, it's been insane for 10 years now, and even though I took a little break, but in reality, I think what made me decide to stop competing is just like these events are just not fun at all.
Yeah.
And everybody is hating these events to the maximum extent. We were in Shanghai for a World Cup, and half the dudes did not come.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm here because I'm working with China, but I would not come. Like, it does not matter to me.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of guys the guys that are here is more like, okay, we need to really get into the mix and the group of things, understand how it's going to work, because the Olympics in a couple of years, I need to understand. But, you know, the event went from having amazing parks that were greatly designed. I'm not even going to talk about the quality, because we had Skate for Dew Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big fan of concrete for X-Games, but the ramps feel solid, good. But just how X-Games designs kind of went to shit, and obviously people will agree or disagree, but this side of, like, if I'm looking at Mirra as like the pinnacle of competition and the style of riding that he had, like, he would have hated these concrete fucking parks just because they're small, we are quarters, like, it's gonna maybe favor a different style of riding that is not the show riding for the crowd to see.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where I was going. What was I talking about?
Just the parks.
So now the park designs are all terrible. We have an inliner designing the BMX course. And I understand you can study BMX. You can seriously grab all fucking 20 years of Ride magazine and read every fucking article. And you still won't know that, man, maybe this distance should not be. Right now we have a box jump, and in front of the box jump, there's a fucking bank to a wall ride. And this wall ride had a fucking sub in between, so you were going to die if you tried to wall ride this.
Yeah.
And we tell him, hey, man, like, this needs to go. Like, it's just, he gets angry. It's not even like oh, man, dude, sorry I messed up. Like, I was trying some design, and we have tried to, like, hey, man, just go and ask. I understand you don't want to give a competitive advantage to the teams or whatever, which you can. You have to still go and fucking pedal the bike.
Yeah.
Or ask this a year in advance, or 10 months in advance, 8 months in advance, and then release the course, and now everybody knows it.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's it. But no, doesn't care, doesn't ask, thinks he wants it, he cares. He thinks he knows what he's doing. There's been a couple instances, I call him for another course. I was like, hey, man, we got to compete here. This variable is too small. We need to add 4 more feet because people are going to case and die.
Yeah.
And no, I need the UCI approval. Okay, I call Bart. And Bart's like, hey, man, if you think that this is going to help the show, fuck yeah, let's do it. Because it's not like you're moving a ramp somewhere that is all sketchy. It's like, hey, just making a variable taller.
Yeah.
No big deal. Okay, cool. I tried to call this guy, add him on WeChat because he lives here. Tried to find his number. I could not get a hold of this guy. Contact everybody through Fise except Herve, who's the owner. Hey, man, can someone get a hold of this guy? All I get is through a medium guy, an intermediate, like, hey, no, he says that the UCI said no or something. I was like, that's weird. I just talked to Bart. He said it was okay. So if I talked to Bart again, he's like, yeah, like, I'm not understanding. And then eventually got late enough that he was like, well, we cannot do it.
Yeah.
And when I see him, he's like, hey, man, what is the problem? Oh, these parks are approved by the UCI. I was like, dude, like, China was going to pay for this because this park was in China. Like, it's not like you're working for free.
Yeah.
They're already making you change a bunch of shit that didn't work out the way you designed it. They're willing to pay for this too, to make the event better.
Are we talking about this park here?
No, not the one here, but one in Bajon.
Okay, yeah.
So, okay, that blows off, no worries. Through the years, the designs have just been terrible. Yeah. Even for this one, like I said, you have a bank to wall, and it's not even aligned with the wall, with the box jump, and then he put a sub, and we go and tell him, hey, man, this sub needs to go. Like, the girls are not gonna be able to ride this.
Yeah.
The men, maybe if you come from a side, like, it's just no one's going to grind this thing. It's fucking like this in a fucked up area. Like, it just doesn't happen. And he gets mad about it. And it's like, dude, I'm not, because there's been many instances. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to, I want to make your job better. Like, if you make a good park, everybody's going to be happy. We're gonna love to be here. So that's one side. And then the practices are crazy. Ask Dennis. Yeah. What he thinks about the practices. You have short amount of time, incredibly short amount of time. This event had a lot of people, so it was somewhat easy to practice, but usually you have a lot of people, not enough time.
Yeah.
Here you have rollerblading, the same park as BMX, so obviously we get less time. The weather has been crazy.
Yeah. Which is the one thing you can't control, but I was
because you can go indoors.
Yeah.
I understand you want to say like, oh, it's expensive and all this stuff, but like breakdancing is indoors here. The building is 150 feet tall. Like we could have a fucking vert ramp, 2 vert ramps, like vert on top of vert.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, it's not on our rule book. I'm like, well, it should be.
Yeah.
Because like they're not gonna die if the wind fucking blows. We are.
Yeah.
And then you have rain, and so like the show aspect, like I think it went away too. Like I gone to a couple different events. Like obviously at the Olympics, I was not in the crowd, but my family was, and they were like, I had to leave. Like I saw your girls and I left because the sun was crazy. There's not one lick of shade.
Yeah.
You can't. No one is selling waters. I have to go downstairs, grab a water because they're trying to do the recycling and all that stuff. But it's warm water.
Yeah.
My mom, who is whatever 60, 70, she's like, I can't do this. So imagine if you go with your kids to watch this and they're in 45-degree weather and you're like, I never in my life will come to this.
Yeah.
You will leave and go home upset. So I feel like the show aspect lost its claws. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then on the competition side, which is what I'm doing, it's like, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Schedule changes, whatever. You don't know your groups. Information is late. Dude, a million things. I got tired of it. I say, fuck it, I'm out. I think if that wouldn't have happened,
and it's not necessarily limited to Fise as well, because like even X Games is tight too these days.
Events gonna suck when you go to fucking Japan after making you jump through hoops because of COVID, and you only get 8 42-second runs before the competition, but then next day is like 2-hour practice because they didn't know how to do the schedule. It's like go fuck yourself, man.
Yeah.
And then the next event, I went to another Japan one where like I did my 2 full pulls, Declan crash like 20 seconds in or something, and then he beats me, I get last. I was like, please don't invite me anymore, man. Fuck you and your event. And I mean, and whatever, I hope they do well, but at the same time, it's like I know they're not doing what they used to do. The show suffer with, and it's going to suffer if you keep bringing the shit parks where I understand the era of when Chase Hawk came and win X Games. And obviously Joe Rich has a big impact into this. And this, I might not be public knowledge, but is what's happened behind the scenes. And that shaped BMX. People stopped pedaling in BMX courses because, fuck, man, I don't want to get penalized. And it got so severe that eventually a new branch of park, which is bull riding, happened.
Yeah.
You know, and now maybe I'm switching to a different topic, but judging obviously has a big impact into BMX.
There was that phase where it was like, because X Games started making their parks bull, or they went parks to bull, so then it was like there was this like hardcore opinion of like, well, now it's a bull, don't pedal. And so they started docking people for sure. And it was a weird, like, strict phase.
It was a very strange phase because then, even to this day, you still have a bowl for X Games, but now you're not inviting this Chase Hawk style of riding. You might invite a couple, but your bulk is the
I literally said
trick guys.
Because they had Dovey there, and Dovey killed the bull. And he got fucking last place or whatever, and I was like, don't invite him. If you're not gonna fucking award him for riding at his incredible level, don't invite him. And it's not meant to be a slight on Dovey in any sense. It's just like
no.
It's just don't, because you're just bumming him out. Like,
it's basically
you don't want to get fucking last.
Well, it's what happens when you go to X Games and Chase wins that event. It's like, okay, then I was not meant to ride and be my style of riding, and not just mine, but a few of us, is not for this event. And that's okay. With the problem is when you don't say it. And then the like when the Vans Bowl Pro Cup start happening, and there were a crazy controversy in a few of them. But like my side of BMX riding, like this side of competition, didn't go because we knew what was expected. And the couple guys that were like, no, it's not like that, and they got fucking 25th after doing fucking triple flare X up to fucking grind. Like, oh, now I know. And that's fine, but you now you know. The problem was when you didn't, and all of a sudden like somebody decides to do a change without telling anyone, then, you know, and X Games obviously has suffered because you went from watching Dave Mirra first double backflip to now it's like, I don't even know, like, how can you do the biggest trick on the 4-foot concrete box jump? That is shaped weird because the skaters want it one way. And then I hear that the skaters hate their courses too. So it's like, why are these people hiring the craziest people? Why
Yeah.
can't we not have Nate Wessel back?
Yeah.
Need to do a
Simple
campaign.
session. Yeah. Yeah.
Or someone that, I don't know, that knows what their designing of these things need to be, because the course is pretty important, just how the judging is.
Yeah.
You know, if these things are not in synergy, you get this weird state of BMX today, like on the competition side, even at these events are pretty similar to each other of like the Fise series and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like 100% none of these guys know what to do to win the event.
Yeah.
Logan knows, Jan kind of knows, but then everybody else is like, I don't even know, man. I did this shit, I got third. I did the same shit next week, I got 25th. Because it's not like, oh, you got 8th, you moved just a couple spots. It's like, dude, you did not make semifinals.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it is, it's fucking leadership in BMX. There's none at the moment, unfortunately.
What is there stuff outside of that? Like, I mean, you know, is it results based? Is it I've done this for long enough, I just don't need to do it anymore?
I enjoy competing. I always knew I would be limited by my body getting tired and sore and all fucked up. Yeah, exactly. Eventually I knew I won't be able to be as quick as a newer kid.
Yeah.
And I knew that, damn, eventually it would be cool to be able to give my knowledge to someone that has that energy and that ability and agility to win the events. Like when Jawen wins the Olympics, like I'm there and I know the run to the T.
Yeah.
And I'm just going through it, and you know, when she's gonna double whip the spine, that I know it was like her banger, and she was like stressed about this trick. It's like, okay, I'm like, okay, push forward, okay, 1, 2. When she catches, I'm fucking jumping out of the sky, like if I was riding the bike. And even goes like, okay, you celebrated it 2 seconds, now wait, now go very well, okay, triple bar, okay, oh fuck, it wasn't triple bar X, because what you felt like. I'm going in my head as if I'm on the bike with her, like doing the thing. So, and not just with her in this instance, but even with other riders through time that I had an influence. It's like when I know what they're doing, it's like, oh man, I'm getting into it. Just like this time it's official, and it's like I feel like I won the event too, you know, because I see the work that not just happened that day of the strategy. It's like the months of going at this time and you're not feeling it, because it's fun when you feel it, but when you don't feel it and you have to do
those are the days that count the most, I'm sure.
And it's happened, and you know, like I really like China, but I don't like the food, so it's been difficult for me on that sense. So you remember, I remember I wake up that morning of the competition, and obviously Hannah is the pinnacle of excellence in level of riding, and it's like, dude, she is obviously the rider to beat in this case. And as you said before, like, dude, you were ruthless. Like, yeah, I will be ruthless if we're competing. And I remember, I was like, dude, like, there is no way we're not winning today. We have put so much effort into this, so much time, and I'm like, dude, I've been eating the food that I don't want to eat for so long, and I have to travel across the world 6 times in 2 months because I have something to do here and back, and this. There is no way we're not winning this event, man. And you know, obviously, when things are happening, anything can happen. Like, Wayne could have slipped a pedal, slid, and that was it. And but you know, it got to the point that I don't believe in the universe and all of that. Was like, dude, throw me a bone. It's not even throw me a bone. We work hard for this. This needs to happen. So when it was happening, like, I'm excited of all of this. So, you know, I decided a long time ago, or a couple of years ago, that this year was gonna be the last year competing, regardless. The whole thing with courses and all of this, it's just been like ongoing for so long that, you know, I go to events and I'm not looking forward. And when my friends are also not looking forward to the event, it's like, and you're not really going now because you need to be in top shape for tomorrow because it's a long day, etc., etc. So, well, I'm not even getting the antics of BMX. Or when I go out, no one is out. You've been to some of these parties. It's like the random scooter fucking dude that you saw downstairs, and and you're like, oh well, I don't want to share. Rather,
those elements still existed at points, you know, like Pat and Kevin and like those dudes were down, you know, like even Kyle, like those dudes like there was that element up until like maybe, you know, never at these things, like, but other
not
events,
as much as these things, but at these things it's happened less and less and less and less and less, and here like maybe if we go downstairs to the lobby, there might be some people and we talk some shit.
Paul Folan's down there drinking. Probably.
Oh damn! He's like, yo, what's up? What's up, man? Bring me some beers. But yeah, and he kind of this one I think is happening because we haven't seen each other for a few months.
Yeah.
And going to the Olympics was so difficult and stressful for a lot of people that this is the first time that everybody's like,
kind of chill.
Oh man, this is cool. We go, and I don't think everybody's so stressed about the results tomorrow or the day after that. I think it's like, oh man, I want to ride and have fun. Like I rode the practice here. Like I said, I was doing a wall tap. I would never do this. I was just jumping around things, and I was like, oh, how is this hip? How is this thing? It's like, dude, I haven't felt this way in riding in so long.
Yeah.
Because I obviously, for so long, I needed the results, either because of you're getting paid to get the results, or because you're trying to qualify to the event that's gonna be the thing that you're trying to do it. That I don't fucking need to get any place anymore. I just want to ride.
So when you decided like 24, like you literally like at the end of the year you're done. So why are you going to these like Spanish events and stuff like that?
That's a good question. Spain, I went to Spain because I've been going for like 14, 15 years.
Okay.
I always had a good time there. Like things get run a bit crazy. This last one got run a bit too crazy, but I always had a good time there. I love Barcelona. And I was like, dude, like I did not compete in Paris. This will be the last time I compete in Europe. And the thing is, like after Tokyo, there's so many Venezuelans all around the world that it's like, damn, dude. And I did that event and 500 people came down. Maybe not 500, but a couple hundred people came down and photos, and you talk, and like, you know, it's people that have been away from their country for years because of all the political problem there, that, you know, you are the closest thing to them, to their country, you know. So, you know, I decided that, and then
relationship with the event overall.
Relationship with the event, like there's been other events that have, hey man, are you coming? Nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Here I'm here because I'm working with China. Otherwise, I would not come.
Yeah.
Although I love Shanghai, and just the events have been so crazy. That's like, dude, it does not. I'm not having a good time.
And then it's whatever. It's October right now.
It's October now. Is
this the last one ever?
In Shanghai, yeah. Asia. Well, technically not Asia because I'll do the Worlds. I'll go to. I have 3 more events. I'll do. We have our Continental Championship in Chile. Okay. So I'm like, well, this will be my last event in the Americas.
Okay.
Then I'll do the National Championship in Venezuela because we're opening a park. There's a city that built a park with my name. So it's like, well, we can do the National Championship.
That's crazy.
I got my own park, dog.
Dude, again.
Fuck. But I don't pay for this one, so it's good. But no,
is it called the BMX Farm?
No, it's just Daniel Dhers Park. There's a couple. There's 2 Daniel Dhers Parks in Caracas. One in Caracas and one will be in Barquisimeto.
That's amazing.
Different city.
That's sick.
So I want to do the grand opening, national championship. I would like to do a couple things like a BMX clinic. I would like to do a few things around this. So I'll compete there. Because I also know, like, it doesn't mean much to me to compete anymore. It doesn't really matter. But I know that, you know, you kind of put on a demo, and if someone beats you, cool.
It's like a sunset tour.
It's
you know,
like
hey, I'm not trying to win this event. I don't want to just like call it. I want to have the experiences and have the experiences like my
I would like
way.
to, and it's weird that I just never seen any BMX rider ever do it.
Yeah.
And I hope that guys that follow, you know, in the future,
careers,
they end up saying, hey, I would like to do the last year of the last event. Like, kind of announce it in advance, not just do it and be like, oh, bye.
Yeah.
You know, like, and my last event will be the Worlds in Abu Dhabi. And yes, like, I know that will be gnarly. It's more of like, I want to go and do it. Like, whoever goes at that event, it will be the last time you see me compete. Like, you know, I was there when it was Dave's last event, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And you know, when I look back, it's like, fuck, I wish I would have known. We would have gone celebrated. We would have done something.
Yeah.
You know, like Nyquist, you don't know when it'll be his last event, but if he ever announces it, it'll be like, fuck, man, I would love to be there. You know, at this point, unless his last event is the Worlds, like I will never compete with him. But think about like 15, 20 years ago, you're kind of competing and fucking, oh, this was, I don't know, Mike Spinner's last event. It's like, oh, then this guy did the 1080, 3 triple whip, the 7 whip, like, oh, damn, this is cool. But when all these guys competed and left, nobody knew.
Yeah. It's romantic. That's cool.
There's like a romantic aspect, you know?
Yeah, that's cool, dude. So, I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're being public about it, too. And, like, it's like a cool, cool thing. Because, I mean, dude, fucking, what, 20 years of competing? 2004?
20 years competing pro,
Yeah, that's...
I mean, 21, but I got 40th place because of that 3
crazy.
whip. That 3 whip did not work out that day, so Van Holman fucking beat me. But, so I don't, like, if you're getting 40th place, you're not a pro. You're an amateur. You stay home, come back later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but 2004, I did kick some ass.
Yeah.
If Van Holman would have showed up, maybe different story.
He was scared.
I think he was scared. But yeah,
dude, that's incredible. 20 years as a competitive action sports athlete in any genre of it. Skateboarding, moto, scooter hasn't been around for that long.
Yeah,
but
it's not like, common. I know it's not common, and I am happy with a lot of the things. Although I might not be happy today with the events, I am unhappy on my end that, okay, I knew they're really good things, but when I see a lot of these dudes, that a lot of people are discontent, but I still see the newer kids, it's like they're excited the first time at a Fise, or the first time at the World, so the first time is like, damn, dude, I don't want to sound like the old guy. Like
you were just at you experienced the heyday, and of course, when you're over 20 years of time, there's gonna be a period which is better than another
for
period.
sure.
And generally, it's not the last bit.
So
it's
because imagine like when Dave stopped competing, that was the demise of BMX too, because he came from X Games and all the fame and crazy glory, and all of a sudden. It's like, oh, now it's 5 YouTubers, now 4, now 3, you know. The good thing is, like, these guys do have the Olympics. It's just a very slim chance, but if you do it, dude, you will become the biggest superstar in your country. Yeah. Maybe the world. I think we're yet to see who the next Dave Mirra will be. Yeah. Because it has to happen at some point. You know, it might be American. I think it has to be American. If you are on American TV, if you're an American Idol, you will be huge, huge all around the world. It could happen with someone from Europe. John's got the recipe. If he spoke more English, if he was more like outgoing in English, like, because you need maybe weird belief, but I think you gotta be in the American media. Because imagine like fucking Tom Cruise just showed up in a fucking motorcycle, American ass flag, walking into the closing fucking ceremony of the Olympics. It's like you already know LA is going to be fucking nuts. Yeah. Michael Jordan was there. I don't think anybody's seen Michael Jordan in decades. And he's there. It's like, damn, you're going to LA. Hollywood is right there, man. Yeah. Only 6 hours in traffic, but it's right there. Learn your fucking English. I know you haven't made it 2 hours into this podcast because it's not in French. I know. No, he knows English. He just doesn't talk much in English. He knows English. It's not that he doesn't, but you know him. I know Logan has to be towards the end too. Like he might do LA. Yeah. I don't know if he will do Brisbane. I think he can make it. I don't know if he would. Is Brisbane like the one after that? Yeah, 2032 though. It's in 8 years. He's 30, he'll be 38. Yeah. Or he's 31, so he's 39. Like he could still do it. Yeah. But I don't know. Kieran. Yeah. I think Kieran could also. Or it could just be a whole other. It could be fucking Sam Grace. That's at Sam Grace could. Yeah, in 2032, I think he could. LA, I don't know. He might be a bit tight. He could. I think. Yeah. 32, I think, is definitely more realistic.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see who the hell will be in 32, because I don't think ever in BMX we look forward that far in advance. You always saw who's winning X Games next year.
Yeah.
And it's always been so, like, slowly progressive that you don't. Maybe we don't think about
measured in months more than anything else.
Yeah.
With the China stuff, is this ongoing? Like you have this indefinitely right now?
I just signed with them until LA 28.
Okay, wow.
So I'll be with them for 4 more years.
And what does that look like on a regular basis?
Crazy, but crazy because I want to spend time in Venezuela too, because I also realize that I need to help BMX grow in Venezuela. Mm-hmm. I retire and there will not be another Venezuelan in the Olympics for at least 12 years. Like it's gonna take, if they leave Venezuela today, maybe, because we just don't have the infrastructure, all the stuff that you need. So I realized that, man, I would like to start, like, although I've done stuff there, I haven't been able to really focus on it. And Venezuela is a country that you need to be there to talk to the person. It's like, hey, man, I send you an email. Yeah. Fucking never get an answer. Right. But if you're in person, yeah. Like, they feel the urgency of it. So I want to take care of my sport there. I try to do more stuff or some stuff for, like, the overall of sports in the country, but I realize that I can't. Like, and I think I would be able to do more for just BMX. And then if this grows or goes somewhere more than just the 5 guys riding, maybe I could help the rest of the sport in the country to grow. So my year looks, spend time in China. And then I would like to spend seasons in different parts of the world. So last year we spent some time in Europe, right around Montpellier, all the way to the world. So that was like 3 months that we stayed.
With the China team?
With the Chinese team.
Okay, yeah.
I left every couple of weeks because I also had other events and stuff.
With that on the wayside, like, you can obviously focus on, with there being no more events and competitions like that, you have a lot of free time.
I do have more free time, and I'm looking forward to the free time too. Like, I went to Caracas just now, and obviously I have this thing on my knee that I'm very old school BMX. Check it out later, it's okay. But I did not ride much, and I was like, dude, this is the first time I have normal life in my life.
Yeah.
I never did the normal thing. Like, what do you do when you're not riding? Like, I did not even think about riding.
Yeah.
And the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then I was like, no, man, but I do miss riding. Yeah. So I grabbed my bike. I rode a little bit. I just didn't have to fly. But it's weird that, damn, I need to eventually find also the intermedium of that, of like the going to no ride at all, and ride 10 hours a day to, like, I want to do Fufa no ice pick.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is find the stuff that you want to do. Find the fun stuff. Find that middle ground of, like, I don't have to do the hard shit anymore and the scary shit.
Like, my park doesn't have races right now. And the other day I showed up, I'm talking with my friend and we haven't ridden. He knows I haven't ridden in a couple months. And I drop in, I do a 3 on a truck, and he's like, oh man, you're still can 360, ha ha ha. I was like, yeah man, check this out. And I do a 7, I turn around a 3 double whip, and he's like, holy fuck man, I thought you haven't ridden. And I was like, yeah man, I haven't, but I can do these tricks, like I've been doing it for so long.
Fucking, yeah. Like, you've probably done 10,000, 720s.
Millions. Yeah. And I was like, I think I can 3 triple whip, but if I put my foot down, I won't be able to go to Spain. So let me, when I come back, I owe you one. But it's crazy because I know I have these tricks, like maybe a 7-bar bar, I won't be able to really do. It might take me some practice to it. So I don't think I could just, ride with Van Home and reminisce about 2003 and be like, you know what, I'm going to send a 7-bar bar, but I could maybe be like, maybe 3 triple whip will come out.
Yeah.
It's a bit more on my realm. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to ask more questions about China because I think it's so crazy.
If you have,
but I mean, I've heard crazy shit about the team and the way things work. Like that it's they're essentially professional riders but subsidized by the government, and it's like that they're I mean, I'm just gonna say what I've rumored, what I've heard, that it's like half the girls are like gymnasts that they found they got told to ride BMX.
Yeah, no, yes and no. So
well,
like,
let me do the last one, and then the one was that like they're literally like the income for their family. Like they are like their family relies on them to do well or something. Or lively, like that they're like put up. Their entire family's been put up by the government or something.
No, the families have their own thing. So
okay, yeah. That's what I mean.
So,
like,
for example, one of the things of China, and this you won't see it outside of the country, but these people are not poor, man. This is not the China of 30 years ago.
Yeah,
when I first came in '98, this was a place I do not want to visit again. And now it's like, dude, this place, it shows you their power, their economic power.
Yeah,
and I know statistically, they took 600,000 or 700,000 people out of poverty in the last 20 or 30 years. Like they did 42,000 kilometers of maglev, the fucking magnetic train that was almost as fast as a fucking plane.
Yeah.
So they did not just fucking sit back and like, hey, do what we say. It's like, I think they did at the beginning, but then that has changed because yes, you are watched all the time. There are cameras everywhere. They're seeing what you do. And I have asked this to them at some point, like, hey man, but you're not, like, they're watching you all the time. They're like, yeah man, if someone steals from me, they'll catch him in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
why do they have so many fucking security guards then?
I'm like, fuck man. Yeah, no, that's the same because dude, if you go to prison here, it's like you're fucked forever.
Yeah.
And your children are also prevented from doing certain things. So that's why crime does not really exist. Imagine you go to prison for stealing a bike.
You pay for the sins
sins of the father, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's fucking complicated.
Like a real crime, though. Like a
real
kill
crime,
somebody
or kidnap or steal, like depending on the theft.
Yeah.
Maybe a bike, not so much. But if you go to prison, dude, they are severe with their laws. Like they're not playing around.
Yeah.
So.
It's literally, I mean, when I was pedaling around yesterday morning, I'm like, why? Literally was thinking, I was like, for a country with like basically zero crime, why the fuck do they have so many security guards? Like, because I just kept getting kicked out of everything.
Yeah. The question is there no crime because the security, or their security is there to prevent the crime? You know, it's like when I walk to France and I land in the airport and the guy has a fucking machine gun that I never even seen in America, the land of the guns.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand and ask him that sometimes. Like, well, you know, you have him in case, but
it's a job.
So the whole security thing is kind of weird because like, well, but like I'm not doing anything, so I don't care. And if someone does something to me, they'll find him.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck you, dude, you got me there.
Yeah.
Because like I sometimes just want to fucking scratch my balls, but I was like, then this camera's here. I don't know, but then it's like, well,
I'm dead serious. The first night in the room.
Yeah, you're looking at everything.
I was laying there and it was dark and there was a light would blink every like few minutes, and I had to turn the light on. And I think is that a fucking camera.
I think in North Korea, yes, they're watching you fucking touch yourself, but I think here they're not because they'll watch you on everything else.
Yeah.
So on that side, the families, they have their jobs, they do their things. Like maybe there might be a writer that they all get paid by their provinces. So it's not by the central government. The central government does give money to the provinces to develop the sports. Mm-hmm. And to China, sports are very important because it's the true way to show power. Like you're not gonna go shoot each other and fucking fight for some land anymore.
Yeah.
Politically, it's kind of tough to say, but if you go from winning your first ever gold medal in like 84, and then 30 years later you win fucking 40 and tie the United States, who's done it for so long, fuck, these guys are doing something, you know? Because if sports is you cannot build any medal in 4 years, you need decades.
Yeah.
So I understand the significance. So the provinces have their teams. Obviously, this is a structure from other sports where every province here is basically a country, and they do get money from the central government or whatever business each province has, and then they fund the team. So the original team, to my understanding, they said like, hey, anybody that does any sport can come here this date. We're gonna see who has the skills to ride bikes. And they sat there and they saw a bunch of people, 40, 50 people, and it's like, you, and the rest of you go home. And so it's kind of crazy. So you have people that did track and field, a lot of people that did kung fu. You have some BMX racers, so they took people from cycling to come into BMX too. But this was the original team, and then after that, it's like I don't know exactly who came from where at this point. I just know the OG team who now coach part of the provinces. Like as some of the coaches in the provinces are from the original team.
Okay. Because I think I asked Darden, I was like, "Oh, are the women that you like warned about?" Because when he was coaching China, it was like he was like, "Yeah, the girls, the women's. There's a couple women that are going to be coming for, you know,
from
like
different
like that are like they're gonna fucking kill everybody in a couple years." Like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, one or two of them. I can't remember which one it was. If it was Jackie or
no, it might have been Zhou Huimin. I think was around him.
Yeah.
Zhou Huimin won Montpellier and Brussels.
Yeah.
But so Zhou Huimin is like a weird example. She does come from cycling. I think she comes from actual cycling.
Okay.
So, and when she rides, she comes from the Guangdong province, and this province is being pretty good at the basic skills of riding. The other thing is like, okay, you know, China gets the direction of, hey, be good at this sport.
Yeah.
And they have all the resources, but they do not have the information. So that's why they needed to hire an international coach to bring Darden in the first wave.
Yeah.
He got caught with fucking COVID, and then the Olympic dream died, and there was no way for them to qualify. So then that was it. It's done, and then COVID destroyed everything, and then they restart, and it's like, okay, they revamped the whole team. So there's no one from the original team.
Okay.
One of the girls from the regional team is now a coach from one of the provinces.
Okay, all right.
Maybe Zhou Huimin had to have been from like a junior team, but she was not in the elite women's team.
Okay.
But she had to have been 12 or 13 or something. So I know they know each other, but
not like
not that original. So yes, at this point, you know, China.
But it is their job. Like
it is their job, and we live together.
They're professional bike riders.
They're professional bike riders, and they get
not
paid.
Sponsored by bike companies.
Sponsors
or
are kind of difficult for them to get.
Yeah.
They need because this is the thing. So like, okay, you are starting to ride BMX. I get you from any sport, or you come one day with your bike, you like that, and you want to ride. Okay, cool. And I see you have potential. Okay, you come into my team. Yeah. Now I pay you a salary. I pay your housing, your food, everything. So now I kind of own you. So if you do well, like, you know, because there is not only just the money, there's also political power inside, you know, like imagine like we win the gold medal and basically they went from 0 to hero. It's like everybody's getting political power or money or something. Like everybody's doing well in some extent, in whatever extent they want, because everybody's deals are different. So everybody wins. So now it's like, okay, the next batch, the riders that are going are like, fuck, this could be really good because I see she's famous and this is good. Because maybe as a kid you don't understand all of the other complexity of the world, but then the coaches now understand, like, damn, these guys are doing very well. I want this too. So they try to do, and what happens is they're either going to hire international coaches to help them grow internally, or they will make sure that they're good enough to be in the national team, so I take care of them. Because I don't mind helping the provinces of people, but dude, when I come to Shanghai and there's 50 riders, there's 43 riders from China between the juniors, the girls, and the men, is like it will be impossible for me to do all the runs.
Yeah.
Also, the run is the last part. Like I need to do the training. I need to do all the practice before. Like it's just not. I cannot define the contest in one. Like Montpellier was insane because luckily Zhou Huimin was really good already. So it's fairly easy-ish to put the tricks together. It's like, hey, can you do this? Yeah. Can you jump this? Yeah. Okay, easy. But sometimes a couple of the other girls like, can you do this? No, I can't do this. Can you do this? No. I was like, oh, fuck, now I need to really put this run together in some way that she can get her stuff done.
Well, like even here, so like, I don't know if we're going to splice in any footage, but there's like basically like elevated spokes, and then you can hip into this big wedge. And the Chinese girls were the only. I think there was 2 of them maybe that started on top of the giant wedge, and the wedge is like this. The deck is this tall, and I'm like. I see him climb up there, and I think I asked Lara Lessman, and I was like, "Are they doing that because they're afraid of jump the gap?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dude, that's fucking scarier than jumping the fucking gap into it." I agree.
But I think in this case, like right now, the national team is reuniting. Like right now, there's only 2 people technically in the national team.
Yeah.
Which is Sibe and Yachi. They both qualify for finals.
Yeah.
All the other girls are fighting their way in, and so I don't really know them. I know a couple, but the other 2 I don't know.
Yeah.
So like even working with them, talking about things like, can you do this? No. And the thing is like, I'm not gonna make you do something right now that you never done at the competition. It makes no sense. Like, you know, I want you to do the best you can possibly do, knowing, and also like.
Kind of way, I mean,
there's so many variables in the competition that's like, hey, I'll put something together, but now I know the problems and the things, so we go home, we work on this, and then next time if this appears, you'll be able to jump in and it's no problem. Yeah. But right now, I'm constrained by like their ability because I also don't know exactly. So
this is their enterprise.
This is the enterprise. This is where they come and
they were the 3-whip.
They were telling me about the 3-whip last night, and then they come today and the fucking 3-whip didn't work out, you know. So yes, and this is natural, and I think it's happened to me with all of them at some point.
Yeah.
You know, like Sibe qualified first here, she won Shanghai, but she passed away in Budapest and did not make the Olympics.
God, that was crushing.
So the crazy part is like the 3 of them could win the Olympics. And Sibe won Shanghai, and then Budapest, she made a mistake, and now she's not going to the Olympics. So now it was crazy because she just won. She could have also won Budapest, like because she's been riding good. She's been very steady.
Yeah.
Yawen and Yachi's been like, they beat her sometimes, but you know, she's had the most consistent results.
Yeah.
So on paper, it's like, damn, she might be the Olympic gold medalist, and then she crashes and doesn't make it in. It's like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's how gnarly the level is of riding.
She was, I mean, that
but
was
the 3 of them.
She was wailing afterwards, and that that was when the idea, I think we talked, and it was like, she's basically like, she may have like fucked it up for her family or something, you know, like that was where the conversation came.
It wouldn't be
like,
that far. Like it's obviously not a happy moment because they have put so much time and effort into this, and now this happened. It's like, come on, man. And this wasn't part of the plan. She got excited and threw an extra bar, and that's it. And you pay the price.
Straight triple bar at the quarter, right?
A double bar.
Double bar.
But she didn't know we didn't have this in the plan, and she got excited because she was feeling good. And I don't trust the double bar.
Yeah.
That's just my personal thing. But it's her trick. It's like, okay, we do it in finals and not in qualification. She does in qualification, dies.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like she had that happen in Budapest. This was probably the hardest because it was for the Olympics.
Yeah.
But it happened to Yawen at the Worlds last year. She won the Olympics, but at the Worlds, we had the run plan perfect. It's like, damn, I think this would be the first place run. Top 3, possibly first place.
Yeah.
And then she does the first run. Scores don't come in how we expected. But also it wasn't far away. Like, I know this run will not win. But then it was further back, and to me it's like, well, it doesn't matter, like we still have another run. I think to her it was like emotionally like, oh damn, like it wasn't the score I expected.
Yeah.
Then what do I have to do? And it's like, hey, just go into your second run, it's okay. And you know, she had to go and kind of melt down and crash and then just get sad and do the whole heartbreak.
Yeah.
And then it happened to Yachi too. She had a bad accident last year, and then she couldn't compete. And when she came back, she was far behind from all of the girls. And it was like, I will not make it to the Olympics. So they all had their heartbreaks.
Yeah.
And you need to have these heartbreaks. When the couple of girls had bad crashes here today, it's like, yeah, you gotta have it. It's unfortunately it happens now, and I wish it would never have to happen, but it will happen,
part
man.
of the game, yeah.
It's part of the game, and maybe it's even better than happen now because now you know what it's like to lose, and now you might not want to lose. So even Sibe today with her run, like, you know, when we discussed it, it's like, dude, she was so conservative. It's like, yeah, she learned.
Yeah.
I don't care if she qualifies 12th or first.
Yeah.
Make it to finals. In finals, we unleash.
Yeah.
And that's where you actually show your riding. But, you know, so she makes it in somewhat comfortable. It's like, oh, now it's good because we do have space to move forward. But when you try to get, greedy in qualification.
Yeah.
BMX does not like greed, man.
Yeah, the 2 runs too is difficult, but I guess logistically, like this will be your main job then going forward. Like you have stuff in Caracas. Like, what does Redbull think about you retiring?
Yeah, we are conversing at the moment.
Yeah.
I think they do want to work.
Yeah.
Because we already talked about things for next year, but because my contract is up this year, obviously because of the retirement and everything, but not sure if as an athlete, I think there will be some athlete stuff, maybe helping organize things within BMX for Redbull.
Mm-hmm. But it's not like, okay, you're done.
Oh, it's not like
done.
bye.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah,
And even before, the conversation's always been like, even when you start competing, there will be stuff that we will work together with.
Yeah.
I think just recently is when we finally had to sit down and fine tune the conversation, but it's been positive, and I have tried to do stuff for the brand, and I know the brand has done incredible stuff for me. So it has. I think because it's never been like just take. It's like, hey, you go back and forth. Like when they call you for a trip that you're like, dude, I'm in the middle of all this other stuff. Do I have to go? It's like you don't even ask like if you have to go. It's like, no, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
Like I'll go and suck the 30-hour trip there and do the 2-day thing and come back the 30 more hours because it is what it is, man. And this is the hard part of sponsorships. I feel for a long time it was like, oh, I take because I'm the star and just give me the money and all that. And then with time you learn that, no, man, you got to take care of your sponsor. If they don't sell the bikes or the cans or whatever you're representing, you're not going to get this. And at the same time, it's like if they believe in you, why are you not going to believe in them, and help them with whatever. So I think the maturity also lets you build that relationship further than just the competitive career.
Yeah.
And today you have Instagram. You can also still be relevant through social media, or in my case, I decided to do more in Spanish. So up until now, Maligno, there wasn't really a main Hispanic person, you know? Although I might have crossed in different cultures and languages from South America, it never... Not at this level. Obviously, we had Axel, we had Alejandro, Diogo in Brazil. Like you had people, but after the Olympics, it was different.
Yeah. Changed it for sure.
Changed. So it's not. And thanks to Dave and Due Tour and all that, I learned to be able to speak to camera, to people. Like I'll meet with politicians and I'll meet with brands and I'll meet with a random kid from the hood. And like when you're able to have that. You're able to socialize in every aspect. That opens doors. I speak multiple language.
Yeah.
And I speak English, Spanish, Portuguese,
Mandarin.
Some Mandarin. I don't know if you heard me, but I can get by with Mandarin.
Yeah.
So if I'm with them for 4 more years, and I can speak Chinese by LA, dude, it opens now another door of like now you communicate to 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
Plus Taiwan, which I don't know how many there are, but so it's like. And I speak some French, I speak some Italian, I can understand a little Russian, a little Croatian. Like all these things will help you, and it's things that I think keeps you going with brands in this case. You're an asset more than. It's not just a dude that we're not just giving you free money and do what you do, which some brands do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, how the hell is this guy still sponsored? I haven't seen a clip from him in fucking 2 years. Like, what is going on?
When looking back on the entire career, is there like a single event, a single moment, a single trip thing that happened where you're like, oh, that was like my peak or my pinnacle or my favorite thing?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hard one, but
it is definitely a tough one. I think. There's a lot of different things that you live. Like when you win the events, the first time you win Due Tour, and you were like, I'm not expecting it. But then the second time, now when I actually win it, I was like, damn, dude. Hell yeah, I can say that I am one of the best in the world. But I always knew that then there's other people. But the feeling of that, and then X-Games, you go to X-Games and you win them, and then you win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just like, damn, dude, like all these things, they all have different stories. There's not like a favorite medal. And then you know, you win some of the Fise events through the time, but then like from 14 to 19, it was like a weird time because the events were happening and you're winning between the best riders in the world, but might not being publicly like as big as a Dew Tour or an X Games.
Yeah.
But then Pan American Games kind of came in and Maligno was coming up. I think he might have already won Simple Session or something. So it's like, damn, this is a real dude you have to beat. And then winning that there. And then Tokyo was like, man, I would love to win a medal, but it will be tough.
Yeah, yeah.
You have Logan, you have Jan, Irek, Rim. Damn, like it will be very difficult to win this. And then winning the medal, I was like, damn, I don't think I'll be able to do this again. Like trying to win the Worlds will be even harder just because it's a lot more people to beat. I'm like, I think that was I think after the Olympics was like, okay, this was the final peak.
Yeah.
Like I thought I peaked maybe 8 years ago, but then I had like a moment and then came back. But I know this was it. Like caught more air and that was it. And you know, a couple years ago, it's like I'll go to events, I try, but as I was not having as much fun, then I stopped caring as much.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's cool to go and every once in a while, like, oh, this guy, I don't like this guy too much. Or not like I don't like him, but I would like to beat this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I do have like, let's drink a beer, but in the course, I need to show you a trick or two. I need to show you this 360 tail whip, how it's done, you know.
If BMX wouldn't have panned out, what would it have been?
Like back then?
Yeah, crime?
Crime is always interesting.
Male gigolo? What is that, male?
I think.
Condom
maybe.
salesman?
Nah, definitely not. No, I really don't know. I think I would just have a random job, and I don't even know. Something with languages, maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't even know. It's crazy because it's just been for writing and all of this for so long that looking back, it would be insane. Looking forward, I think it would be easier, but looking back, it's like, what would I have done?
Yeah, 20 years ago, Dhers.
What if I would have said, yeah, fuck this, I'm out?
Yeah.
What if I would not go and ask Dave if I should stay or what? What if he would have said, yeah, fucking leave?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, then it's crazy because you see riders or athletes through time that come in and all of a sudden disappear. You will wonder what happened, and it's like, well, it could have been an injury, it could have been an experience, it could have been something like.
Yeah.
And what do they do now? It's kind of weird when you find like a dude you rode with 15 years ago, and now they do bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah.
Or fucking Spinner, all of a sudden he's selling supplements, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know about the supplements for a long time, but it's kind of crazy to see so many years later. It's like, damn, Mike, holy shit, what you're doing is crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
and he took experience from his time at BMX.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know, like it really did teach him a lot about how marketing stuff worked, at least from what I heard. So
well, yeah, he took the high level, the high performance into that. I always, you know, talking to parents through the park and stuff, it's like when the kid is in BMX, like they will be more confident in school. They will be more confident in their life because you gotta learn to trust yourself.
Yeah.
You're trying to convince yourself to do something stupid like jumping stairs or a step down or flipping or whatever. It's like you gotta learn about yourself. Like I mean, there's obviously some crazy people in BMX, but I feel I think that's why they're respecting BMX. And you know, when like street and park don't get along or something, like it's all online shit. But when you're in person, you're like, I mean, unless someone did something fucking really stupid to someone, it's like, damn, dude, I do respect what you do.
Of course,
you know, like
all the high level participants in BMX, it's all camaraderie.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
all the street dudes. If there was a street event here, they'd be watching the park.
Yeah.
100%,
So. It's like when I mentioned earlier, like you see Chase Hawk do this, I can fucking do it. It's easy. Like, how is he doing well? Like, and you have this weird thing. It's like, yeah, you do that as a kid that might be ignorant or just, you know, have this weird, crazy idea in their head. But as time goes on and you see it and you meet the people and you do it, you're like, oh no, this shit was actually pretty fucking difficult. The respect is there, you know. Like, do you remember that time we ended up in Chase's house at X Games or something?
Oh, we were hammered.
I think it was you and Lacey and someone. Like, I can't remember.
You were there?
I was there. Fuck yeah, I was there. But it was like
drunk.
we were definitely drunk, but it was like one of those weird things. And I bring Chase as an example just because the icon that
kind of opposite. Like
it's very opposite, and he's like an icon in that style of riding, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I think he's like, "Dan, you just come to the house." I was like, yeah, sure, man. And I think you said something, and Lacey said something. Yeah, man, just come. I was like, I don't know. And his wife was there too, and she says like, "Come on, Daniel," or something. I'm like, dude, everyone in this car is like, okay, fuck it, I'll go. Worst comes to worst, I leave. And then I had a great time, and everybody's talking shit, and everybody's just, you know. And I realized that is crazy because, like, I respect what they do, but you never really talk about it. And then in that moment, it's like, dude, they invited me to their house. It's like they're respecting what I do too.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't invite someone to your house, like, if you didn't have some level of respect, you know.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, well, we might not agree on things, but it was like, damn, dude. Like, and from that point on, I think, like, I understood BMX at that level of like, I don't have to really agree with him on this whatever topic.
Yeah.
But I know what he's doing is fucking gnarly.
Yeah,
you know?
because you made the same sacrifices that Chase and Daniel made. You know, Dan Lazy. Like
you said Daniel.
Daniel
fuck,
Lacy.
I don't even know that's his real name. I didn't even know that's his real name.
Yeah, you know, you guys are in you know, slightly different paths, but like they're going the same fucking direction, and it's like
we all have wanted to progress as in the stuff that we love to do. You know, so
that's what I mean. It's the same breed of fucking wild animal.
I think competition was just like the way to gauge it, like as a number 1, 2, 3. But in reality, everybody has always tried to excel at what they did. You know, when you're getting recognized by the peers, you definitely try the hardest, man. You know, like Ben Hannon is like an example because like I think we all like Ben Hannon. We were all just scared of Ben Hannon.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, like, because you're like, damn, Ben, if he gets angry, you'll die.
Yeah.
You know, but we all liked him because we all knew that, dude, he's fucking sending the gnarliest shit. One time I saw this motherfucker we were riding the bronze spine. This had to be Fise 2007, the first time I go to Europe. And he's like trying to fucking pump the spine as hard as he can and lands and airs as high as he can on the quarter and comes and does his run. And I'm like, I'm on the deck, like back against the water, mini ramp.
Yeah.
And he's fucking getting high, airs the fucking spine as high as he possibly can, pumps maximum pump, goes to air, kind of fucks up the air, just fucking air. It's like in a slow motion, just fucking throws the bike, flips off, and just crosses his legs and does this, and just fucking lands perfect transition. But it wasn't like he was trying to do. He just fucking like air, and just fucking slid and gets up and just And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Dude. And after that, I was like, and I think at some point, eventually, we talked, you know, after I lost, I didn't lose the fear completely, but when I finally had the courage, and he was like, the fucking coolest dude too.
Yeah.
And then the same thing is like, you're understanding he's standing the fucking gnarly shit in his own world too.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, for obviously the kids that think that, oh, this guy's better, fuck this guy's to do this, or this guy's corny. Yeah, some guys corny, some people are corny, but for the most part, everybody's trying their hardest to be the best at what they can in their own style. When you see Tate doing the weirdest shit, I don't think anybody could beef with his stuff, you know? Because some stuff is just so fucking out there. You're like, what the hell is going on with this?
Yeah. It's all BMX, and it's all fucking crazy in the end. Like, it's all stupid. Really, when you boil it down, you're like, I try and do this shit for what? Like, but for you made a career out of it.
Yeah, well, some people do career, but at the same time, it's like, at this point, I will not have a career of competing anymore.
Yeah.
But I want to ride and express myself through my bike.
Yeah.
You know, like when I go, remember one day I was doing full Fise, foot jump something, I come back and I do fight tap, and I do like a bar tap bike speak, and then I come up, and this guy's like, that's really funny, you do the old school tricks. Like, the fuck you mean the old school tricks, man? Yes, I was like, yes, I actually do old school tricks, and I was like, but yeah, that's the style I grew up with. I love that.
I think the test of time too is that you're still on the like after competitiveness, and it's like when you can have fun and enjoy it, and it's like that's like the test of time. So.
I think I enjoyed it a lot through time. There were times I didn't enjoy it as much. I always tried to push the boundaries where I could. Then I was like, dude, I can't push into maybe the crazier trick. I want to have a good line and find like a good way to ride the course or be clean or be more like something. And now it's like, damn, I can. The other day I was riding, and I think I did like some ice pick or something. I came up and then I did an alley-oop 3-gap, and all the Chinese riders were like, damn, we didn't even see that line. I was like, I know, I've been doing this for a minute.
Why I'm the coach.
And then I came around, I think, yeah, exactly. I said, this is what you guys need to learn. And then I flipped the spine, I turned around, and then I went downstairs and I did like bonk twice to something, foot jam and nose press something. I did a couple techs and I went up a 7 in the box. I was like just switching between somewhat styles of riding, you know, like the whip tail tap to ice pick and the toothpick here, and then all of a sudden, like, I manual just across the park, but like just going the other way. And the guys, you can see how they're all confused. Like, why are you not training the hardest tricks?
Yeah.
And then I came up, I did like, I don't know, something, and then it's like, and 3-double whip the box, and then alley-oop grind.
Yeah. Too funny.
Yeah, that's BMX for me.
Anything else? Anyone you want to apologize to? Anybody you want to say fuck off to?
Nah.
Anything?
Nah, all this good.
I appreciate you doing the podcast.
No,
even though
appreciate
this isn't
it too.
the normal thing.
This is a different setting. Later on,
Yeah.
If I ever in my life come back to California.
Yeah, we can do another one with Dennis.
Because it'll be tough to get Dennis out of Cali, you know.
It is.
Out of home.
It is.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because obviously I don't think we ever butt heads.
You and me?
No, I don't think you and me either.
Yeah,
have we?
no, I get along with everybody.
I don't think we have. But Dennis and I
That was a joke.
No, I know you definitely have to have beef with people.
Yeah, you and him butted heads, but
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I think you stole a trick from him or something at some point, but it was like
Stole a
young
trick?
Dennis or something. But I think I talked to him about this, and he was like, no big deal,
This
or
would
like,
be-
yeah. But I remember him telling me about it
I
back in
stole
the day.
a trick. That would be tough.
I was like like the no foot canda whip or something.
No, that
like
shit I
that.
did first, dog.
Or maybe he stole it from you.
He had
or
to steal it
something.
from me.
Yeah,
But I don't think I ever had a
know.
beef with him on
Yeah,
that.
no, I don't. Yeah,
I'm trying to.
no, there would be no.
No, I really don't think so.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to get his perspective on some of the events, because
Yeah.
although we never butted heads, we still were competing, trying to beat each other, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, there was an X-Games that we had close, we tied, and I think got a tiebreaker. That would be interesting to ask him.
Yeah. So there is another X Games story that I'm having flashbacks to, but we'll save it for another one because Dennis was probably there. So
I need him to defend himself about this
maybe
story.
I'll Gary sit in too.
Let's bring Gary and
Yeah.
let's see. Let's get it controversial. Imagine like 20 years later we get argument like, no, that fucking contest I won.
I didn't slip my fucking foot.
Yeah, motherfucker, that grind didn't matter. Yeah.
But sincerely though, 20 years is fucking no joke. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Congrats on all the success. Congrats on being famous in your home.
Thank you. Appreciate
Congrats
it.
on 4 years of training the enemy. And congrats on everything, man. So.
China gets along with the U.S., man. But when
love
we
China, so
when we were in the course, you know, ruthless, dog. don't touch my motherfucking muffins.
I love that term. Just
Yeah,
stuck
no,
the whole way
that
through.
sticks. But no,
All
thank
right,
you for the
this is the longest I've stayed up. So
All right, well,
cool, dude. I think that was a long time.
that's very long.
Yeah,
Gonna have to do part 1, part 2.
dude. There's plenty of that. All right, how long does that shit record?
toilet now.
I don't even know.
oh, it didn't feel.
No, definitely not.